All right, we are live. I feel like I'm going to be very rusty at this, but let me get the chat. We got to talk about I got to talk about this trash Game of freaking Thrones. Let me get the chat open. So the finale just happened. I had some company over, so I wanted to wait till they left. So we could talk about this. Where the hell? I swear, freaking YouTube. Can I see my chat, please? And then I could tweet this out and we can get more people in here. I don't think I'm going to go like scene by scene or anything like that. I didn't do that the last time. I kind of was all over the place. But I'll try and, keep it organized. And we'll try and tackle this whole thing. Where the freak is my chat? Am I not live? Why is this is being strange? I'm gonna have to go to my actual like channel, I guess. But I hope you guys are doing well. I know it's been a minute. Crazy week, but I'm here. And I cannot get to my freaking chat. Anyways, I'm just gonna start talking. And I'll eventually get to it. So just hang in there. I'll get caught up on the chat. But where do we even start? Okay, I'm here. Got the chat. Whew, what's going on, guys? What is up? I see you now. I haven't done this in a minute, so I'm just like trying to get back in the groove. And what a way to do it. What a way to do it, but to talk about this tragedy of an episode. Buro, you know why I'm here. All right, we're here for the we're here for the same reason. So let me give you some backstory real quick. Real quick. I caved in and checked out the leaks because the episodes in season 8 were leaked. I avoided them for like the first 3 or 4 episodes, or 5, 4 episodes, and then it got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm already feeling disappointed. Screw it. So what I did was I just peeked. I peeked at the leaks and I saw like a couple of them. And I was like, man, this is going to be bad. This is going to be terrible. And it got to the point where after the last episode, which I did not talk about because, last week was crazy. I had a bad week. So I didn't even really get to talk about it. But after that episode, I was full on F it. I'm just going to read all the leaks. And sure enough, every single leak that I read came true. So even though I was prepared going in, my expectations were the lowest of low. I was still disappointed. How is that? How does that work? Oh, man. So, all right. So it goes without saying, this is going to be full of spoilers. So if you're here and you want to wait, you don't want spoilers, you shouldn't even be here. But I'm letting you know now, we're going to talk about the episode. Let me say hi to the chat real quick. We got Josh, we got Nev, Gian, VGL, Dave, Burro, the hater. Listen, Dave, you can enjoy it. Not Dave, Burro. You can enjoy all of this right now because I know you're happy as heck. You wanted us to not enjoy this episode and you got your damn wish. Damn it. So enjoy, Burro. But yeah, Dave, what's up? Blade, Hustle, Kratos, who doesn't like anything. What's up, Kratos? Man. So yeah, let's just talk about the main thing in this episode. Who got the throne? Technically, there's no throne, I guess, if we want to be, technical. But Bran of all people is the ruler, voted by all the who was all sitting there. So it was freaking Sansa, Arya, their uncle, I forgot his name, and he was trying to make a case for himself. It got to the point where it was like Tyrion in front of all of them. The cousin, the weird one that would that would drink milk from his mom still when he was like 7 years old. He was there, Brienne, you know, Gendry, just all of the major players, right? They were all sitting there and they voted on Bran. And this was leaked, like I said, I knew this was going to happen. I didn't want to believe it, but then after all the leaks from last episode came true, I knew it was going to happen. So it was not surprising or anything. It was just like, man, the way everything's just been executed this season and especially this episode, it's just been terrible. Just absolutely terrible. I really did not like the last episode, which was episode 5. I did not like that episode. This one was worse. It was worse than last episode. The last time I was live with you guys, which was episode 4, I actually really liked that episode. I liked the politics going on, the build up, the dialogue, the interactions. It was cool. I enjoyed that episode, but then it just went completely downhill. And like I said, that's when I started looking at the leaks, and I just knew it wasn't going to get any better. Red Hood, I'm actually going to invite anybody really. If you want to come in, I'll get you in a minute. There's also who else? Alton. I don't know if he's listening right now. He wanted to come in too. So yeah, if anybody else wants to come get their opinion out there, let me know. It feels weird being live with you guys. Seriously, I've had a horrible week, so part of me feels like it's weird to talk a lot right now. I haven't really talked a lot the past week, so I just feel kind of, it's like I'm happy to be talking to you guys, but I'm like, it just feels weird. So I'm just, you know, thankful for you guys and the support you've given me over the last week. And it's been crazy. But yeah, it's good to, you know, just get my mind off things. And we're going to talk about this trash right now and kind of have some laughs and hopefully be in pain together when it comes to this episode. Because gosh damn, the whole season, really, the whole season, just rushed, poorly executed, poor writing, so many flaws, plot holes. I mean, you name it. It's been bad. It's been really bad. Hardhead, let me know if you want in on this too. I'm having a couple guests come in a minute. If you want the link, let me know. This man Hardhead binge watched in what, 2 weeks? 90 hours of Game of Thrones, and this is what he had to conclude his binge. Like, I don't I don't know if we should feel worse for him or for us watching for years. I don't know. They're both pretty bad. They're both pretty bad. Red Hood, yeah, for sure. Tweet me, Red Hood. Do I follow you on Twitter? I'm not even sure. I don't know. I should though. Tweet me so I can get you a link. But yeah, so Bran is the ruler of the 6 kingdoms. They made sure we heard that part. They said it, I think, 2-3 times. Ruler of the 6 kingdoms. Sheesh. And then of course we had Dany, who, you know, she was celebrating. She's basically Queen of the Ashes, something she said she would never do, that she would never rule over ashes and never kill children and all that other stuff. But here she was celebrating, saying we're going to rid the earth of bad people or whatever the hell she was saying. She was just it was just like the whole, like, man, there's just so much to talk about. There's so much to complain about, I swear. Like, Dany, just in general, the downfall of her character is one thing. Tyrion is a whole other thing. There's just so many characters that were so great, and I feel like they were just ruined. Jaime was another one. Jaime was so great. His redemption arc, all of that was just out the window. Him sleeping with Brienne was like pointless. There's just so many things that were pointless. So many things. I swear. And so yeah, Dany, like I said, she was now the queen. You got the Dothraki celebrating. You got the Unsullied. All of them respawned. What the hell? They all respawned. There's tons of them there. So they're all celebrating. You got Drogon there. And then she tells Tyrion, "You betrayed me, basically. You helped the other side, you helped your brother." He throws down his little hand, his the thing he wears on his chest, throws it down. She throws him in prison, basically, just some random room. And here's the thing I noticed right away. So when Jon walks into the room where Tyrion's at, right? He's going to talk to him. He gives his sword to the Unsullied because whatever, for security, whatever reason, gives him the sword. But then when he goes to see Dany later, he has his sword on him with his dagger or whatever else. No Unsullied around. I get it. Maybe she wanted to be alone, whatever. But I just noticed that right away. There's just so many things that are just, they don't make sense. They're not consistent. They don't make any sense. Uh, somebody's saying, oh, Nev says Jaime's downfall made perfect sense. I don't see him. Well, okay. Here's the thing. Let me get this out the way. I should have started with this because I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, you're just upset because, you know, Jon wasn't king or you didn't get what you wanted or whatever." That's not why most of us are upset. We're cool with some of these plot points. Most of them actually. I'm cool with Dany going mad. I was cool with Jon having to kill her or whatever it is, whatever, else happen in this episode. But how it was executed, how it was paced, the storytelling to get there from A to B to C to D, all the way through Z. Instead of going through all the different ways, they went straight to Z on some of these things. And that's my issue. It's like they didn't really properly flesh these things out. And I feel like so many people are reaching. They're reaching for these past like prophecies or these certain scenes, like, oh, well, that's when Dany was showing she's going mad, or that's when this is happening. And it's just so many people are reaching. But it's like there wasn't any good buildup to a lot of this stuff. That's the problem. That's the issue we have. So I just want to get that out of the way. Hardhead, I'll get you the link. Let me get this really quick. But yeah, I already know I'm gonna be all over the place, so maybe you guys can help me stay on track. VGL wants to join. Okay, we might have like 3 or 4 people in here, but let me just say a few more things before we get into that. So yeah, it's too hard to go scene by scene because a lot of these scenes were just so freaking pointless. They were just so bad. You know what? Let me put it this way. Okay. In my most recent memory, when it comes to Game of Thrones, I have never been on Twitter during the episode. But for this one, I was on Twitter like halfway through. So that should tell you a lot. I just was checked out. I was so checked out. Like, this is really happening. Everything's going according to the leaks. I'm just done. That's how I seriously felt. I was like, I'm done. I wanted it to end. When they were at the table, all the leaders and Tyrion was fixing the chairs and they all sat down and they had that conversation. I was so checked out. I was like, this is way too long. They're trying to add in like some comedy. I don't know what the hell's happening right now. Like, I was done, Dave. Exactly. Done. Yeah, Red Hood, I will get you right now too. Let me see. Did you tweet me? Okay, there you are. I see you. But yeah, it was, there's so much to even go over. It's like, yeah, we could talk about each scene. We could talk about each character and the downfall of some of these characters and just the show overall. 8 years or so of waiting, anticipating, wanting these payoffs, and we just did not get a lot of them. A lot of them. It's crazy. Let me plug in my earbuds and then we'll start getting some people in here. Maybe I'll do one at a time so we can get your overall thoughts one by one. Who should I get? Hardhead first? I think we should get Hardhead. He just binge watched 90 hours in 2 weeks. Let's get this man Hardhead in here. Oh my gosh. Let me DM you right now. I think Copy and pasted. Yeah, let's get Hardhead first. Where did it go? Shoot. Next. All right, let's get Hardhead in here. I can barely talk right now. I feel tired. I feel like I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. Alton, I'll get you next. We're gonna get Hardhead's thoughts. we're gonna go from there. Let me read your comment. Where is it? How did they break the wheel and let the North independent at the same time? I'm sure they became independent because they wanted a woman in the throne and was afraid of the backlash if they didn't. You mean like it's like a what do you mean? Like the writers or the people in the show? Like the characters? I'm sure they became independent because they wanted a woman. Do you mean like some SJW stuff or what do you mean? Hardhead, I sent you the link, so I don't know if you got it yet. I don't understand what they were thinking. I think gaming. What's up, Gaming Forte? Alton's going in. Let me go ahead and send it to Alton and Red Hood too. All right, let me tweet or message Red Hood. Hopefully this link is working. And whoever comes in first come, first serve. You can give your story. You can tell me how you feel. Tell all the people how you feel. Alton, where's Alton? Where you at, Alton? Let me send you a DM. Maybe this link's not working. You guys let me know. Let me know. Sometimes they don't work. Buro, you are not getting the link. Let me know if that link works, Alton, because sometimes I feel like it doesn't work. Oh, it doesn't work? Okay. My bad. Let me do something else. Shoot. Links. Shoot. How do you invite people? All right, here we go. My bad. All right, Alton, there's your link. Sorry for everyone listening. Probably like, hurry up and get to it. Shoot. Hardhead, let me send you the right link. My bad. And Red Hood. We'll have to keep it organized. Let's all talk one at a time. Hardhead says, need a minute.
Oh, there it is. I got it.
There you are. Hardhead, what's up?
What's going on, Eric?
How you feeling right now?
I like I said, at this point, I can't do nothing but laugh at it.
Uh-huh.
Like, like Prodigy said in the chat, I probably have the freshest memory of the entire show, having sat through 2 weeks of it. I sat through it at work, sat through it at home. I done missed stream days just so I could watch some of this show, and to to have it in like that is just fucking hysterical.
Oh man. Yeah, I was curious about, everybody in your situation, like binge watching it, and it's so fresh in your mind that it's got to be different. Because like with us, we've been going season to season. Like there's times I'll watch like older episodes, but it's like here and there. For the most part, we've been waiting, especially this season, which was pushed up a whole year.
That's no, I see. I kind of wish they would have waited that whole year. Now, I mean, I've been pretty much disconnected ever since the finale of season 6. To be honest,
Hmm.
like soon as I saw season 7, the first 2 episodes, I was like, something ain't right, something's different. I don't know what's going on, and I know I'm not gonna like it, but I kept pushing through, and I'm a little upset that I did, but at least it's over. That's all I can really say.
Yeah. I actually feel kind of relieved it's done. I just wanted it over because I knew the leaks going in, like I was saying, and it just sounded terrible. I was like, there's no way. I
See,
just didn't see that they could redeem it. Go ahead.
I got lucky because I didn't know about none of that. I did a pretty damn good job of avoiding spoilers. I had like I think I told y'all before I had 32 words muted on Twitter just to make sure I could avoid spoilers.
Dang.
So I didn't know about none of these leaks that everybody was talking about like that. Like when when he put the damn book on the table, that's when I bust out laughing.
Because of what? The title?
Because of the title, yes. I'm like, I
Oh
can't believe
man.
they actually fucking did that.
Sheesh. Yeah. Red Hood. Well, what about you? How you feeling?
I also read the leaks on the Free Folk Reddit by like episode 4. I knew what everything was going to go down. Episode 6, like a lot of, I want to say blind fanboys. It's just funny because they had the book, like Hardhead mentioned, A Song of Ice and Fire. People were like, no, the show is Game of Thrones. And they have that fucking book, A Song of Ice and Fire, right there. And I'm just like, that shit was it was cringe, but it also kind of like spat in the face of people that thought it was just about Game of Thrones. The whole Drogon thing pissed me off because Jon should have died right at the spot. But I guess plot armor, and a lot of people are trying to justify Drogon not killing Jon by saying, well, because he's a Targaryen, well, in A Dance with Dragons, legit, they explain like the dragons actually also kill other Targaryens, so it's not like a special connection thing. So it just doesn't make no sense. It's just plot armor for the sake of plot armor. Tyrion's whole, I guess, story just falls apart after season 5. He's a straight dumbass. Like, he acts way out of character. Right. Jon is a whipping boy this whole season, and that's not Jon Snow. That's not the Jon Snow I know at all, which was so disappointing. And literally his lineage, there was no point to it. There wasn't. I don't know why Bran just, announced it, because it made no sense to announce it because they weren't going to do anything with it. And I just felt so disappointed in that, aspect. What else? The whole Night's Watch thing, like, it just didn't make any sense. The whole premise of having the Night's Watch is because of the White Walker threat. The White Walker threat is, done, but for some apparent reason they reestablish because, just reasons. And as well as it seems like also Varys acted out of character this season as well, because he's usually pretty stealthy when it comes to sensitive, knowledge. When, like in season 1, you could see that when he's talking to Ned, and like he's like being very secretive about it, but he talks to Jon in broad daylight and sending, ravens in broad daylight and stuff like that. But I guess the other lords don't know that Jon's the king for some apparent reason.
The ravens never got sent.
I guess so. The ravens never got sent. What else? The whole Jaime thing, where people are like, oh no, his character arc was great. No, it didn't make any sense because they were going for the whole redemption. Now, if they degraded it, that's fine. If they had more scenes, with it to make it more sensible, that would be fine. But they didn't.
Wait, what was wrong with Jaime?
It just didn't make any sense for that to happen, to go to Cersei immediately. That's how I felt.
How it didn't make sense?
Like, he just found out, oh, they killed the dragon and Daenerys might kill her. Oh, I'm going to go there immediately. And also be a dumbass and not cover my hand like I did in season 5 when going to Dorne and the season 7 finale when going up north.
I mean, nobody saw him. He made it all the way to it.
It's just like, I guess things leading up to it, like him, sleeping with Brienne, things like that. It's like, why? What's the point? Why go to Winterfell in the first place, kind of thing? Like, why not just? Well, there's Alton. Why not just stay with Cersei? Oh, I hear echo.
Yeah, it's Alton.
Sorry about that.
There you go. You made it. It worked.
It worked. My bad.
Yeah. So, okay, Red Hood, do you have any more things to say, or?
I'm trying to think. I was fine with Sansa ruling the North. It made sense. The whole Arya thing was just, I don't know. I didn't know what they were going for, or even having her in the last episode. I understood the whole Clegane, telling her don't be like me, but they didn't need to do it towards, King's Landing. They could have done it on the road and stuff like that. Just that also didn't make any sense. And yeah, I would say that like literally the only thing I liked was the whole Jon and Ghost thing, and then Bran also saying, and I think it was episode 4 that he doesn't want to be Lord or anything like that, right? But then he becomes king.
Well,
just
he said
because,
he didn't want to be Lord of Winterfell. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's all they ever said.
But he was saying because he's also in the past and stuff like that. So that for him, there's no reason to, because he's looking through the past and all that stuff.
Lord of Winterfell though.
Yeah, but he's saying he's also in the past, like looking through memories. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, if they were building to it and that making more sense, like I feel like if George was going with Bran, that would be fine, but it would have to make sense, and it just didn't make any sense, and there was no lead up to it. It just happened randomly. But I can't expect more from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah, they directed this episode too. Did you guys notice that?
The pacing was pretty bad.
They directed it and wrote it, of course. But yeah, so that going in, I think I read that on Twitter or something right before the episode. I was like, oh man, here we go. This is gonna be pretty bad. But I agree with you though about Sansa. I was happy with how she ended. I was happy with that. Arya, I'm kind of on the fence. That is very Arya of her to do. So I feel like okay, it does make sense.
They had already promised that they would try to see what's west of Westeros. That was
Right.
a conversation
Right.
that her and Clegane had already had before.
Yeah, I was cool with them, and then Sansa, of course, taking the North, her having them all bow to her, call her Queen of the North. That was awesome. I thought that was a great moment for her. The rest of it, though, was just, man, a lot going on. I mean, we should talk about Dany and Jon, the way he killed her and everything. Like, how'd you guys feel about that? Actually, let's get Alton's initial thoughts, and then we could talk about Dany.
Man, I mean, the ending of the episode was great. Jon said bye to his siblings, and he got reunited with Ghosts. But that episode was just bad. Like how they voted for Bran as the king, and it's just like everything was so rushed. You know what I mean? And you could tell it was rushed. Like they just wanted to get this series over with and move on to that Star Wars project that they're doing, apparently, if the rumors are true. Jaime's arc, I can see why people think it ended well. You know what I mean? Because I read a tweet saying everyone forgave Jaime, but Jaime never forgave himself. So that's why he ended up running back to to Cersei, and you know what I mean, and just all that crap. How they died was terrible, man. Like, how is someone who has his own arc in the books die just like that, just with some rocks, just crumbling onto them? It was so fucking bad. Man.
Yeah,
just...
I wanted better for them. I mean, Cersei.
I couldn't stand Cersei, but dude, she has been like the tyrant for like almost the whole series. They could have sent her off way better than that.
Right.
Looking so weak, looking so hopeless. After most of the time she looked fearless, heartless, didn't give a fuck about anything. But in that last episode, all of a sudden she was just like, you know what I mean? Like scared, weak, It was just bad.
She's like the ultimate finesser though, because wasn't she like the most paid actress on the show?
Yeah, like $1 million an episode apparently.
She had maybe like 20 lines of dialogue, maybe.
Wait,
she was
real quick.
What's up?
His ending was fine. I can understand you being upset about Cersei, but his was fine because he got into a fight right before he even made it up there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, I can. After I was upset at first, but when I read the guy's a person's tweet saying that while everyone thought Jaime redeemed himself and everyone forgave Jaime and thought he was a good guy again, in the end he never forgave himself for all the shit he's done. So that's why he ended up running back. So I can see why people are saying like, okay, I think his arc ended well. And now that I think about it, it wasn't too bad. You know what I mean?
Because it was his nature. He always runs back to her. He always fights to get to her, no matter what it costs.
Yeah. But Jaime had the best character development in this whole series. He went from being, well, for me at least, one of the most hated characters in that whole series. And as every season progressed, he got better and better until he became a really likable character in Game of Thrones. So I was a little upset, but like I said, after I read that tweet and started thinking more about what that guy said, I think it did end actually pretty well.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no issue with that. I wanted him to be with Cersei there, whether it was to try and kill her or the way it was. It did end, yeah.
But wasn't there a prophecy that either Jaime or Tyrion was supposed to kill Cersei? But that I mean, well, could you say Tyrion technically did kind of kill Cersei because he was with Daenerys?
Well, the prophecy, half the prophecy was in there about it was with Maggie, and they talked about how there was going to be another woman to be more beautiful than her, which was Dany. But that the Valor, it starts with a V. But that prophecy was not in the show itself.
Yeah.
But they mentioned the Azor Ahai prophecy, not by name, but they mentioned that several times, even in season 7. But that prophecy was thrown out. So
but almost all the prophecies fucking failed.
True. Well, I mean, didn't Arya's technically come like somewhat true, half true?
Well, see, people try to justify that, saying she's Lightbringer and stuff like that, and Jon's Azor Ahai, even though they the Dumb and Dumber confirmed that they didn't pick Arya until 3 years ago, which was when production of season 7 began. And if you watch the inside the episode, they knew that Jon was going to be the one leading up to facing off the Night King, but they wanted to choose Arya just so that it's unexpected. And I thought there was an interesting video put together. I think it was the Aegon channel. And he legit had George talking about when people figure out certain aspects of the plot that you shouldn't change it because then it would, ruin the lead up and all that. And you're changing if the butler killed somebody and then you change it to the maid, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, another thing that bugged me about the last episode was how they portrayed Jon. Like, Jon literally got fucked over again and got sent back to the Night's Watch. You know what I mean? Like, dude's been a hero almost the whole series. You know what I mean? Whether it was with Battle of the Bastards, he led, against the Night King, the battle against the Night King, and it's just have him get sent back to the Night's Watch. I mean, I guess that's cool because he started out the Night's Watch, but after all he's done, you know what I'm saying? And it's just you go back to the Night's Watch. It's like, really? After I just, it's like,
according to my man Nev, he said GRM said that was supposed to be the ending with Arya being the one who killed.
Night King is not made into the books, so he's wrong on that front.
Yeah, he's not really talked about in the books like the show has showed him. Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's some whole arc about Jon getting Lightbringer or some shit like that.
Can we just talk about how bad Jon has been this season, though? I mean,
it hurts because Jon's my boy.
Yeah, it hurts. And here's the thing, though. I wasn't even a big Jon fan, and I'm hurt. So I could just imagine the Jon stands out there. Oh my gosh, it was just bad.
The entire season, they did everyone wrong. They
really did.
They did.
One thing that really irritates me, a simple change. I don't understand how Dany flipped out so easily just because she heard bells. I think it would have been a lot better if they wouldn't have randomly killed her dragon the episode before. And imagine she lands. Her other dragon's flying around the Red Keep, and there's a catapult in there of Cersei's that you didn't know about, and she kills that dragon. And then that would make her flip out. Something simple as that would have made so much more sense. You don't sit there and hear bells and have victory. No, you won. And then be like, I'm going to kill everybody.
I read somewhere that it wasn't the bells that triggered her. It was her seeing the Red Keep.
Yeah. So in the inside the episode, Dumb and Dumber.
So you see the Red Keep.
Yeah.
The Red Keep. You see the Red Keep,
right?
and it makes you upset. You see the Red Keep, and it makes you upset.
You would think she would destroy that.
Just destroy the Red Keep.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Exactly. Dumb and Dumber think they're trying to be clever.
Here's the thing, though. Like Dumb and Dumber, D&D, the writers, they do this after the episode thing where they explain things, and it just seems like they're reaching so hard every time and then they contradict themselves so much. Like they've said in the past that Dany is not her father. She's not mad. She's not going to go crazy like her father. But then they do this. You know what I mean? So it's like
at least show reason why she's flipping out.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
oh, so what? Tyrion didn't even really betray her. He got stuck in a bad position because it was his family. It's like I get it. Like you could tell at the beginning of the show she was more reasonable than she was at the end. And it's like, look, like. I get what happened. I get the way they did it. First off, I don't even understand when Bran became the throne. I almost turned the shit off. I was like, this dude literally said, "I don't want to be leader." He said it multiple times in the entire show.
It's so bad.
It doesn't matter. They asked him right there in Winterfell, and he said, "I don't want to." But then when they asked him, "Does he want to be the leader of everything?" He's like, "That's why I'm here." What?
He didn't want to be Lord of Winterfell.
Dude,
Yeah,
if you don't want to be Lord of
Winterfell,
no, that's retarded. That was the most idiotic move. I'm sorry, the last 3 episodes of the show ruined the entire show.
He said he had no purpose in Winterfell. He said that.
Yeah, but he was saying he's in the past and stuff like that. So
I don't know, like the whole Bran becoming the ruler of the the 7 kingdoms is just like that was just.
It was stupid. So they try to get it as a surprise factor, but it was stupid.
They've been doing that
too.
all season.
I would have preferred them to give Arya the fucking throne before that dude
man.
that didn't do shit the whole show.
Exactly.
I still think Jon should have took the throne.
Or the Night King.
Jon
Shoot.
could-
I'll take
I
the
would
Night
have preferred
King.
the Night King to have
I'll
took
take
it.
that. Yeah.
Like, and then what's funny is like I didn't expect the dragon. Like they had that moment with the dragon and Jon. Like I didn't expect that. I really low key thought I didn't know he was going to kill Dany. I kind of figured it, but I thought the dragon would listen to him because he's a Targaryen.
Right.
Well, do you think that's the reason why he didn't kill him? Was because he knows that he's a Targaryen?
That's
so he was
what
like,
But the thing is, that Dance with Dragons disproves that. Because they didn't even establish this like a linkage, like we can't kill Targaryens.
The thing is,
But at the same time, he is the only other character in the show that was able to ride the dragon.
right.
That's because Dany let him ride the dragon. So
Dany doesn't decide whether or not the
dragons do. I think the dragons knew that he was a Targaryen.
The dragons knew, but it doesn't
that he was a
matter.
Targaryen, so I think that's why they're like, okay,
But the dragons also have killed not these dragons, but other dragons have killed other Targaryens.
Okay.
Yeah, but
that's like the books, right? I mean, if you're just watching the show, you're probably not going to know that.
Yeah, but they haven't even established this connection like that. They didn't even really.
I was going to say that. Like they really haven't talked about Jon and what it means. You know what I mean? That really hasn't been talked about.
I would have preferred some crazy ass shit like at the end of the. I mean, like something crazy that like not Bran becomes the. That was crazy. That was dumb crazy. and then like something cool. Like I was like, okay. Cersei got that army. There's nothing they can do. Something drastic has to happen for them to be able to take on that army. And then for some reason, the dragon got like evade off of Final Fantasy Tactics and no one can hit him.
Oh yeah,
like,
he got buffed.
I just don't understand. And then people like, so you mean to tell me it's like that dude was so dumb. He hit that dragon 2 or 3 times.
You're on, yeah.
Like it was flawless. But it's like on that, it's like we can't hit him, man. No, this is this show ends in 2 episodes. No one hit that dragon. Like I'm just
Yep.
I'm mind baffled.
I agree.
It's crazy.
I actually agree with that. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
You mean it
badass, man.
With all of the catapults that was there, that was probably 30 or 40?
You gotta remember the first shots was like she didn't even know the weapons.
Okay, I get that, but you mean to tell me that he could barely dodge the little bit of fleet that was there? Because he almost got hit when he went to blow up and Dany left. Remember, Dany retreated because that little fleet was about to make Dany's dragon they bitch. Yeah. But guess what happened? For some reason, not only did Dany dodge those, the ones that killed the first dragon, Dany dodged all the catapults that was on the castle. How did that dragon dodge 40 or 50 catapult shots? Like, it makes no sense.
You know what I noticed watching it? You know how they replay it before the next episode? I was watching it again, and a lot of those scorpions weren't even being fired. Like, she was just flying around them, and they weren't moving.
Another funny thing I thought was dumb Yeah, how is the dragon going to
Yo.
blow up catapults like they're nothing? Going to blow up, going to burn down houses like they're nothing? But it took him 5 shots to blow up the throne. Like, I don't get that. Like, I know they did it for a simplistic thing. They wanted they wanted you to see it get melt, to see it get destroyed. But it's like,
hold on,
so
hold on.
Can y'all not hear me?
Yes, we can
No,
hear
we
you.
hear you. We hear you.
Oh,
I
okay.
apologize.
Sorry.
I'm ranting
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much.
never.
I apologize. I'm
Yeah,
ranting.
I just don't get like how they made Euron look so badass killing the other dragon, and then in episode 5 he looked so helpless. Like just Drogon just came down, just swooped all of them like just like that. I was like, dude, you took out the other dragon with ease. Like you were like, you know, he was like, bring it,
I
dog,
wanted
got
some.
you, you know?
I wanted
He
some
flew into the
crazy.
clouds to catch most of them off guard.
I wanted some crazy explanation, like they taking the siege. Cersei is fucking them up, and then before you know it, like Bran did something, like he inherited a bunch of animals and helped them, like something more realistic.
Warging.
Yeah, something more realistic than the dragon can't be hit by 50 catapults.
Okay.
Like,
Listen to this. This is the quote from the actor Euron Greyjoy. He said his aim got worse because they needed it for the storyline.
I mean,
Oh, I did see that. I did hear that.
look, at the end of the day, you know, I would have preferred something like maybe something, and because to my knowledge, the books were never finished. They were winging the fuck out of this last bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they only
Yeah.
got like certain plot points.
I thought it would be cool, you know, if they took that, they would have like, okay, you know, the way that they took it out is something crazy, like whoever kills the Night King becomes it, and Arya starts becoming the Night King again. Like it's something crazy like that, but it makes no sense. That's the biggest thing that annoys me is it makes no sense how any of this shit happened. They kill the Night King in episode 3, and you think he's the most badass dude ever. Cersei dies in a fucking I'm shutting up.
Legit, you should have compared the Night King to the Mountain. The Mountain was more unstoppable than the Night King. The Night King's freaking made of glass.
Dude, none of his generals did shit. The Night King literally didn't do shit the whole show.
I will say that's one thing. They never even confirmed if the mountain actually died because I'm not convinced he was dead.
Like
They
the
said
fire.
I'm pretty sure.
And the
they said
sad
he
part
died.
about it,
That fight was terrible with the Clegane brothers fighting.
I thought it was
I
thought it was alright.
I
thought it was a good moment, but it wasn't a good fight.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, he still didn't stand a fucking chance. What you want him to do?
And it kept cutting in and out with Arya.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
Back and forth. It's like, yeah, I didn't really like that.
I would have liked some kind of and you know what? Another thing that kind of was weird. They didn't even explain how Arya was able to get so close to this dude. She can't turn invisible. She turns
jumps
into
like
people.
Spider-Man.
Okay, they did. Hold on.
They kind of did
foreshadow
pretty fucking
that.
sneaky.
No,
Okay, she's so sneaky she could sneak past an army. Get out of here! Like,
Hold on.
Yeah. The whites were surrounding it in a circle. There's a little area.
It wasn't even like 1 or 2 lanes. His whole army was there. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
You're really
Well, let's let
pathetic tonight.
Nev, you give your whole opinion. How'd you feel about the last episode?
So after episode 3, I kind of threw all my expectation out of the window. You know, I think when the season got announced to have 6 episodes, I think it was like a year ago. I think the collective opinion was there was no way that they'd be able to wrap the entire series up in just 6 episodes.
Well, wasn't
So
it originally supposed to be 5? Wasn't it supposed to be 5, but they added
something
one more?
like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We all knew that like it was going to be a shortened season, and anyone who had been watching the show at that time kind of knew that all of the plot threads wouldn't be wrapped up in a satisfying way with that amount of episodes left. So from there, I was like, okay, well, we're going to be disappointed by some aspects. I mean, this season, I liked it up until the 3rd episode, and then I kind of was like, okay, I'm not really down with how this is going. But as far as this last episode, I'm not really sure why people are so angry. Like, it seems like people.
It's the lead up.
I don't think people are angry at the last episode. I do feel like it ended how it should have. Like, it's everything in between they fucked up.
Yeah, execution.
Okay, yeah. So
like
my
amazing
thing
characters
was,
ended up being trash. Basically,
I haven't really heard why I haven't heard anyone say why this specific episode was bad. Like, I've been going around trying to figure it out, and it seems like people.
No, this episode was good. This episode was good.
It was better than 5.
See, that's
it wasn't
good,
good, but
like Addict. That you're the first person I've heard actually be willing to admit that this episode was good.
I
Because it
was
just
kind
seems like
of
people
Mm.
are really angry that they didn't get their characters have uh the
well,
conclusion that they wanted. That
Well,
they
my
get.
the way
Because
that
all of
Danny
the-
went out was the only way Danny could have went out. It was
Exactly.
the only way
Precisely,
she could have
yeah.
been blindsided by anything was because of John
Jon.
kissing her and stabs her, because that dragon would have melted anyone else that fucked with her.
Mhm.
Like that
Yeah.
made sense. Though everyone, Sasha having her moment, that was cool. I don't know what the hell they did with Arya. I have no clue. I don't even want to go into
Took
that.
the Frodo way out. Went on the boat, left.
I thought it was
real
cool.
quick.
I thought it was cool that what's his name left with his troops back across the sea, like what's her name wanted to. That was cool. Like everything ended the way it was supposed to.
Real
It's
quick,
just,
Nev,
it was
you
rushed.
spoke on the-
It was really rushed. I heard HBO said if they wanted more episodes, they would have gave it to them.
Yep, and they would have
Yeah.
gave him a
But-
bigger
but they said
budget.
no,
Look,
right?
y'all,
And-
y'all,
and
they said
y'all
no,
talking about how many episodes y'all got. Technically, we still got the same amount of content.
What?
Because some of them were longer than
There
others.
was no.
I
all
mean,
of
like,
them were
yeah,
an hour and a half.
No.
Every
I would
episode-
rather have 60
no.
more minutes of like
The first episode. Was
See,
only
it doesn't
an hour,
matter
but,
if it's longer, because you still have to conclude that episode and
Yeah.
you have to start that episode.
Mhm.
So if you have more
Do the
episodes, you
math,
have more
though. It's
room to
still
work
10
with and
hours.
all.
Do the
I
math.
don't
It's
know.
still 10 hours.
But it doesn't matter, because some things you can do in an hour and a half that you can't do in an
Yep.
hour and 45 minutes. That's why they had to extend that the fight with the Nightwalker, because you can't just cut in the middle of something. You have to have that whole episode be dedicated to that perspective part. But if
So-
you have another episode, you can start something else, because there's not a bad place just to end it.
Mhm.
The last 2 episodes should have been at least 4 total for between both
Yep.
of them. Honestly,
Exactly.
If
If
you
you
want my
Yeah.
honest opinion,
Oof,
I-
man.
I think there should have been 2 more seasons. I
They-
think that the
Yep.
first season should have been dedicated to nothing but the Night King, to that fight, building up how they should have. And the second season should have been Danny and Cersei.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know. I
agree
think
with
I think 2 whole seasons would have been a little much, but I do agree. Like,
Well, I think
I
that's
think,
the
like,
only way you
like, yeah,
effectively.
yeah,
what
I
they
wish
needed
like
to do.
I think that we should have gotten 10 episodes this season.
Yeah,
with the first 5
exactly.
being with the White Walkers and the second 5 being with Cersei. I think that would have worked.
Mm.
Because think about it, like 2 extra seasons. That's 3, maybe 4 extra years. And honestly, I wasn't really trying to wait. Like, I'm kind of glad that it's over because I'm sick of reading shitty opinions on the internet.
I mean, even 8 episodes could have been good too, because they could have done 4 with the Night King battle, and then 4 with Cersei and
Yeah,
Daenerys, and kind of just done. You know what I mean? But 6,
I'm still trying to figure out why people are angry about Jaime, why people are angry about Bran. Like, I'm not.
I don't mind the Jamie thing, because at the end of the day, like, he was only with the chick his whole life. Like, you can't just shack
Yeah,
up with some chick
like-
in another land and be
Exactly.
like, oh, I
Yeah.
forgot all about my
Well,
sister.
Here's
Like,
the thing that people don't understand about Jaime is that the writer said this inside the episode after last week. They said that they were writing Jaime as an addicted person, and so this idea that his redemption arc is something that was set in stone totally flies in the face of what we know about addiction. People have relapses. There are people who have been sober, for 20 years. They get a hold of, one drink and then they fall off the wagon. So it makes perfect sense that someone who is admittedly a broken person isn't going to somehow, entirely change all the things that,
I just think if
Uh,
the direction that they went, you would have had to build more onto that.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
You
it's
can't
so
just
what
like
it is.
I would have needed a couple episodes of him going back, being put into chains, and then talking more and more.
But
and
it's
then
not
he
always
leaves,
like
and
that.
then he goes back.
Okay,
See,
but
but
we're
that's
not
the
talking
point.
about
They didn't
hold
want to
on.
give it the time. They just wanted 6
No,
episodes.
it's not that. No, I don't think you can say that they just didn't want to give him the time because that's not how that always is. You don't always foreshadow someone's downfall. Sometimes it just happens. in
But
the
when
spur
it's
of the
drastic
moment.
like that, you have to.
Yes.
It's
I
not-
agree.
hold on.
He
No,
went, he
hold
went
on.
straight from hot to cold
That's-
in an instant.
No,
like
no.
literally in
But
an
think
instant.
about what? No, hold on. Think about why he went from hot to cold. The person who he loved, who he spent his entire life with, was in jeopardy. So it's not like it was some.
But why
it was
didn't he
some
do
small
that
issue
when they actually
What's
first
that?
went there to kill her?
Yeah, but Nev, think about it like this. Also,
He was already in. Hold on.
no,
he was
no,
already
straight.
Wait,
L-
hold
listen.
on.
One
Addict,
more thing.
he was already in King's Landing when Daenerys sailed over there in the first place. He was ready to fight Daenerys until
He
she
went to
set the
King-
Lannister army on fire.
He went to King's
talking
Landing
about-
when they killed a dragon. When they killed that dragon over the sea, he was still there with what's her name
Brienne.
when that dragon was killed. It's when that dragon was killed and they came back with the news. That's when he left.
Yeah.
Right, because he was
Eh,
conflicted.
And I
Yeah,
low key think it's
I don't
because he.
know.
But he
what
also left because Cersei didn't want to back up the north, and she straight up threatened to kill him with a mountain. And also, she hired Bran to kill him as well. So that kind of should show you
Sure,
the
but
type of
again,
person-
low-key
as well,
think that
and there was
he's-
no lead up to him going back as an addict. In terms of writing as a show, you
That's
have
a
to lead
horrible
that
writing.
up. In terms,
No,
No,
they
you don't. That's
did.
not
do.
true.
Yes, you do. In terms of writing a TV
Okay,
show,
Look,
you
again,
I
that's
think-
we just agree to
I think
disagree
the
on
only
that.
way that makes sense of his persona is he chose the side he thought was going to win. He didn't think Cersei was going to be alive. When that second dragon died, he thought his sister could win that fight. That's why he went back.
No, he didn't.
I don't think he
knew
did.
No,
he
because there's
knew
no
for a
reason to
fact
go
that he
there.
was holding
I-
Landon the whole
Hold
time.
on.
I think he
There-
went back
Literally,
because he knew that
he decided to go
Cersei
He
back.
was-
went back because he knew she was
Cersei
Yeah,
gonna
you
was
die.
can't.
tough.
This guy's just
No,
yelling
but
over.
okay,
I know,
but
right?
Dude,
how
Let,
do
let,
you?
let Nev go. Let Nev go.
yeah, like okay, he wanted. You have to understand that Jaime's a pretty complex character. So he went north to fight for the living because he understood that there was an existential threat to the entire, all of humanity, and so it was made perfect sense for him to go north and fight for the living. It also made perfect sense for him to come back after the Nightwalker was dealt with because he like. Let's think about it. If Cersei was dead, he probably wouldn't have even gone north in the first place because everything he did to protect Cersei.
Thank
No
you.
matter how
Him
much we
going
think that
But
he
I
changed.
just don't understand if it was about fighting the dead, fighting the Night King. Why didn't he go back when that was concluded? Why did he go back after the dragon was killed? There was no reason.
I
to.
guess he had to hit Brienne real quick and then go. I don't
Just-
know. I really don't know. Like that's
That's
the
what
thing
I'm
I didn't.
saying.
You
It's
think he was
I think that
horrible.
was
for
straight up
storytelling.
fan service,
It's
to be honest.
horrible.
It's
It
not
was.
even that. Okay, because look,
Do you think he
I
was
think that a
conflicted
part of
between Cersei and
yeah,
Brienne, though? Do you think he
yes,
actually
I
loved
think
both
that
of them?
precisely.
No,
I
I
think
Part
that
of
think-
a
him
part
does
of
love
a part.
Brienne.
I'm sorry.
A part of because we have to remember Jaime spent, I think, which season was it? Was it 2 or 3 where
It was
he was
it was
Two.
3. It was 3.
it was
2
3,
and
right?
3 when
Okay.
he was
So
gone.
he spent a
Yeah.
lot of time with Jaime. We can't just like he obviously had feelings for Brienne at the same time. So
'Cause right
I-
at the
the way I think the way I'm choosing to look at it is that his brain knew that he should have stayed in the north with Brienne, but his heart couldn't let him stay there. So he ultimately defaulted back to what he had,
Look,
been most comfortable
Right.
with.
there is 2
And-
scenarios. One, he just wanted to smash. That's a scenario. Let's be real here.
Oh,
Like
here you go.
he just wanted to smash. Or 2, like I'm telling you, he really didn't think his sister was going to win that war until that dragon was killed.
No,
I-
he was
I don't-
conflicted.
I don't
the
think
only
Jaime-
reason he went to the
Yeah.
north in the first place was to protect Cersei.
Exactly.
He knew it
The
was
White
it was
Walkers,
the
yeah.
best decision. What's the
Yeah.
point? What's the point of him staying in King's Landing if
But
the north
then
gets
why-
taken and all the dead are coming?
But he knows that the queen about to go up there and kill his sister any
That's-
damn way.
I
Like
think that was the biggest reason why. Once they heard like, oh, that they're headed to King's Landing and one of their dragons was dead, he was like, oh, I need to get
He's
over
like,
there
she's
because she's
dead.
about
I
to fuck
gotta
them
try
up,
my
dude.
best.
No, literally the line was, it's about the living. It's like we have to kill the dead. It wasn't to protect Cersei. It's about to legit help the living. You're thinking
It
that
was to protect.
but
you're
they
no,
already
it
took
wasn't.
out the Night King at that point.
Let me just say something though, because I didn't have a problem with Jaime ending up with Cersei. I think that's like poetic. He has said times before like he wants to die in the arms of his true love kind of thing. Like that's always kind of been his destiny. So I kind of agree with you, Addict. Like the way it was kind of executed. There's just some twists and turns that maybe could have been done a whole lot better and more fleshed out. All of this could have been more fleshed out. But I do think him dying with Cersei, that's fine. I was fine with that.
You know how I read it when they said the dragon died and then he took off that night. I read it as there's a chance that they might not win this fight. I'll go there and maybe I can reason with my sister, something like that around that, because I don't think he went there to protect her. Like they killed a dragon like it was nothing. Up until that point, they had no army to fight Cersei.
But you have to remember. Do you remember early? I think it was.
Yeah,
early
he
in
told her to
season
ring.
7.
He was the first one that told her to ring the bells.
Just not even that. Do you remember last season when the Lannister troops were going from Casterly Rock to King's Landing, and Daenerys flew a dragon over them and set them all on fire? I think at that very moment, Jaime knew what time it was when it came to fighting dragons. So, I don't think he had any inclination as to whether or not they were going to.
If they killed a dragon so easy.
Yep.
Okay, wait. I have a question for the whole Jaime thing. Okay, so why was he originally going to stay in Winterfell? Like, if you
because he
think about
thought
it,
his sister's about to die.
you
No,
think that's
I
really
think he.
why? I mean,
No, I think he was gonna stay in Winterfell because he loved Brienne.
I
And
think
then-
I think he was really in love with her too. That's why I'm thinking
Yeah,
he
he
was so
was-
conflicted between both of them.
I
You
don't
know
think
what I
it was
mean?
I don't even
Cause-
think it was confliction. He was distracted at least for the moment at the even
I'm-
existence
but
of
you-
Cersei.
because
But
if you look at
this
it,
though, in
Sasha's-
past seasons, dude, there was major hints that Jaime and Bran was low key falling in love with each other.
and
Oh,
then
yeah.
but if you
seasons ago, so
if you were, I'm sorry, man. Finish your statement.
go ahead.
If you remember, Sasha said before he left, "It's a shame. I would have liked to have been there to see your sister die." After they said the dragon was dead, she was hinting that they were going to lose the war.
right?
What?
I mean, she
Yeah,
she said that kind of.
She was like, "I wanted to be there
sarcastically.
to see your sister die, but
don't know.
now it
Yeah,
doesn't
I don't
matter
know
to
if that's.
him."
Yeah, I think.
They,
he
no,
took,
she,
like, a
she.
really-
How is she not hinting that? They gave them bad news. Why do you get bad news that your biggest force just died? Half of your army just died, pretty much losing a dragon,
I mean,
and she
that's-
thinks she's still going to win and say that statement. No,
Cause
I mean,
see,
it was directed the other
the-
way.
She sounded sarcastic when she said it, though. Honestly,
Yeah, I'm not even sure what you're even.
But I
That
mean,
was
if
from
you
the
think
last
about
episode,
I
you
mean,
know-
that's D&D for
or
me.
2 episodes ago. Sorry.
if you think about it, John's sisters warned him so many times, like, dude, she is evil. Like, dude, do not like. I don't know what you're thinking about. Making her queen. It's not
Yeah,
gonna
don't
end
trust
well.
her.
It's not gonna end well. And that was hints like, oh, do not fuck with her or don't fuck her over or any, like, you know what I mean? Like, because look what she did. Fuck, her dragon died. Her friend died. Destroyed the whole city, dude. Just like that,
Yeah.
gone.
Is
I'm
it
pissed.
me?
I'm killing everyone, dude.
But Sasha lost a little bit of points when she was like, "Oh, my brother's gonna be the king of kings, but I don't want you ruling me, so I'm gonna be independent." Like,
Sansa, I like Sansa. But one more thing with the Jaime thing though, because this was where my head was at when I did a Let's Chat like 2 episodes ago. I was saying, you know how Sansa gave him the news that, listen, the dragon died. It was like they're losing, right? I took it as Jaime's going there to kill Cersei. That was really like my whole thing.
that's what I thought. He was gonna try to save the war.
That's how it made sense to me. But then once we realized, like, no, he's going back because he loves her, it's like, okay. Then you start trying to like fill the gaps. You're trying to you try and reach for like why this all kind of happened, you know?
I think the writers wanted you to interpret that way, but then when he got there and he clearly saw, Dany's gonna win this, then he decided to die with her. Because there was nothing he could do about that. Like, I just don't see how you can interpret her going there to protect her. Like, it was clearly like at that time. Let's be real here. At that time, after the fight with the Night King, they were crippled, man. They were extremely crippled. They had 2 dragons. They were wore down. We didn't know how they were going to fight Cersei.
Real quick, super chat from Glorious War. He says, "Why was R plus L equals J subplot 4?"
Nothing.
Jon was the only selfless
what?
character.
Oh.
Sansa
Sorry, go ahead.
betrayed Jon, and Sansa betrayed Jon is rewarded by being queen. Every read the books, they are 10 times better. So he's bringing up the R plus L equals J, which is Jon's, heritage, like what made him king. What was that all for?
That was like the very crux of the entire season. It was meant to sow discord between Daenerys and the
Jon.
rest of the people of Westeros.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
Well, it wasn't
course
the rest of the people in Westeros. Legit, no one else knew besides Sansa,
but the thing was,
Tyrion.
no, hold
Varys,
on.
Nah,
The
it
thing
was.
is, hold on, but the thing is, it would eventually become with everyone in Westeros.
Eventually,
Hold on.
D&D
Remember what
not
Varys
that good.
again? Remember what Varys said in the last episode. Once he said it's no longer a rumor or it's secret; it's information. We have to remember this is a people that live in a world where they are pretty much like they support the idea of monarchy in the traditional sense of the word. So you have to imagine that when the entire continent becomes aware that Jon is the actual
The
heir
true
to the
heir.
throne, people could actually use that as a way to usurp Daenerys. So the plot line of his lineage is the fundamental crux that led to this entire season going down, because it basically became a story of Daenerys losing trust with everyone around her. And
But that doesn't
the
make
logical
sense.
endpoint to hold on. The logical endpoint to that would be people trying to take power away from her. It makes perfect sense. If
Yeah.
everyone If everyone believed that she isn't the legitimate heir, how could her rule be legitimate?
But in that case, why didn't she kill Jon?
Exactly.
Because
But
she loved him.
Because she
Because
loved
she
Jon.
loved him.
Nah, if you're that greedy over
Look,
power,
if-
you're that power thirsty, you'll kill him regardless.
Exactly.
The thing is,
True.
I think we
you
want
probably
people
would
to.
have
I think we
if
yeah.
they gave it another episode.
I'm
Exactly. I
surprised
think
she
we
hasn't
want-
though, because like, dude, she was terrified when she found out about who John's dad was. Like, she was like, "Oh crap!"
Mhm.
And
And then
she was
nothing
I
else.
don't know.
seeing
It's
Look,
everyone.
the
I
show-
think, look,
The
my
show's
thing
the
is,
good
it's like,
show.
my thing is like you guys want some people. I shouldn't say you guys. Some people want these people to be making perfectly rational decisions. Where we have to remember these are people who have emotions. No one has ever made perfectly rational decisions during times of emotional distress. So I don't know why we're holding these fictional characters to any standards we wouldn't hold any human being to. If anything,
Legit.
that
I
makes the
think
writing even better.
You're
I
giving way too much credit to D&D because a lot of
Yeah.
these characters acted way out of character. Varys
Like
acted
who?
way out of character.
Mhm.
Varys?
Oh,
Varys,
can we
Varys
talk about
would be doing all
Varys?
this?
Like seriously?
Like legit, there's a
his
quote
death
about
was,
him.
man.
Oh
And
my
let me
gosh.
pull up the Varys' actor's quote because he
Look-
even admitted Varys didn't even act correctly.
While you go for that, this show was a great show. You know, I would
Thank you.
say
Oh, I
it's a
agree.
good show, but at the
It's-
end of the day, they made it from being one of the best shows ever made to
Ever
just a
made.
great show.
Yeah.
They
in
set
one
their
season.
own. They set their own standards. Like if you think
Fair
about the
enough.
Red Wedding and all the events that led up to the Red Wedding, we weren't criticizing the writing. We were like talking about the characters. Like, oh, how could they do this? And how because it
Mhm.
was such good character development and
Yep.
writing. So it's like they made their standards. So that's why we compare and that's why we feel so disappointed.
Mm.
Like it's just
I just felt like the character development. You grow up with these people. I mean, this show's been out for what 8 years.
8 years.
Like you get that you're low key mentally attached to this show. You care about the characters probably more than your own kids half the time. Like you know you want to see you want to see their character arcs do good. Like the only people I can really say that they did justice for in a way was the Hound. Like because he got what he was doing the whole show. I think Ari they did justice to her
Mhm.
because she was always like a middle character that could go either way. She didn't really care. She had her mind set on things, but that was all. They did her justice. They did the Hound justice, but everyone else, it doesn't make sense.
Yep.
Danny
They-
flipped out and went psycho in one episode and didn't really have no reason to at that point. She won. The bells were ringing. They were in the castle. It's not like they weren't in the castle. All the soldiers dropped their swords. And it would have been different if she just killed the military. She killed women and children too. Like that makes no sense. That wasn't what the persona that she gave the whole show. What was her name? The Breaker of
That's
Chains.
nuts.
yeah.
Well,
Breaker
the
of
way
Chains.
they explained it, it was already planned out before the attack even.
Well, it don't matter if it was planned out. It was planned out horribly.
It was planned out. Everybody knew except for people like Jon and Tyrion. That's the only.
You guys
reason it seemed like
remember-
she did it out of nowhere.
Remember
at
when
least
her-
the way they wrote it, it was planned out that they would burn the fucking city down.
But that's fine. But at the end of the day, you have to build up more to why she flips out. You have to explain that at that exact moment.
You can't say she flipped out if it was planned out though. That's what I'm saying.
No, how are you talking about?
I
She
feel
had like
like
a
what do you
switch
mean
that
it was-
someone clicked.
It
What
was
do you
just
mean it was
so random,
planned?
dude.
If you listen to when Jon and Grey Worm have that conversation right before he goes,
He's talking about a nod. He just gives him a nod, and then he goes.
No, he explained to him. He said this was the Queen's orders to kill all who follow Cersei.
And I get that, but at the end of the day, you need something drastic at that exact moment. Like she sat there like she was contemplating what she wanted to do. She didn't know what she wanted to do. She was like, and then she's looking at the Red Keep, and I'm thinking she's gonna go over there and burn that. Like, how do you go from destroying my enemies to killing all the innocent women and children? And then she's like, Cersei used their innocence. Cersei wasn't even an issue at that point. Can't use that. Like
That was like the
Okay.
last straw for Jon killing her. Basically, when he heard that, he was like, yeah.
Yeah,
what I-
y'all do it.
And from what I understand, this was her plan. At least the way they wrote it, this is what she devised after they beheaded Missandei right in front of her. That was.
I
right
get
when
that,
they
but
planned
someone
to
that
burn the
went
city
out of their
down.
way
But they
to
didn't tell everybody that was involved. They didn't tell Jon. They didn't tell none of the Northern men. They didn't tell Tyrion. But she told all the Unsullied and she told all the Dothraki, burn the city down and kill everybody that follows Cersei. and that included the women and children.
But the thing was, the
Right,
burning, what like in the inside the episode, D&D said like legit she just flipped out because of seeing
And
the
you
red.
can-
That's the
you-
burning.
I have
it
to
wasn't
argue-
planned.
I have to argue against that too, because even the Dothraki and the people with the spears, they were about to concede. They were about to put their arms down. What's his name even sat there, and then when she started burning shit, that's when he threw the spear. Because he was like, okay, she ain't coming back from that. She ain't coming back from that. Grey Worm didn't look like he was in an aggressive type at that time. He looked like he
What?
generally thought it was over. At that time, he
Grey
looked like
Worm-
he thought it was over. They put their swords
Grey
down.
Worm seemed to-
It
What?
did
You
not
could
look like
see
he
the
was
Grey
going to
Worm
attack.
face. He was fucking pissed. He was waiting for
Yeah.
something to
He was
happen.
looking around. He wasn't even looking at the soldiers at that time.
I think the sign was
was.
if she ended up continuing to slaughter everyone, I think that was a sign to like, okay, let's just start. Our queen is killing everyone else. Might as well just finish everyone else off. But I do agree that I think he wasn't gonna kill them. But when he saw, Daenerys start just wiping
No,
everyone out,
he knew exactly what the plan was.
I
No,
don't
but
know.
I don't
Wait,
think he did because
hold on.
I don't
What
think he would
plan? I
have
don't
ceased
think he
fire
did.
if he
Look-
thought. If he knew, he would have kept going regardless. The
Hard-
moment they put
No,
their
they
Hardhead,
needed
hold
a
on.
signal.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Hardhead, you're talking about the plan. Are you talking about what Grey Worm said after the fact it happened? Like when he said to...
I'm saying that from what Grey Worm said, the only reason what happened in episode 5 is because she planned the shit out.
But that
after
could have
he
been just
was
something
fucking
she
dead.
told him afterwards.
I think it was something afterwards.
So
I
we're
actually agree
supposed
with
to
that.
just like assume it
That's
was
my
planned,
point.
or-
Like that's my
Exactly.
point. You have to explain this stuff. You can't
Yeah.
assume
No,
people
that's-
know this stuff.
Exactly.
So I have my quick thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you guys can go back to your debate. So basically, my thoughts. This was a disappointing finale. I started watching this show last year, and I binge watched it. And I'm definitely disappointed with the ending. And I agree with who was it that said it, that it was such a very good show, but it ended so badly. It just reduced it to just a great show. So I'm very disappointed at that. And the best comparison I would say,
His loss.
it's pretty much the 2016 Golden State Warriors.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, okay,
the
lost to
3-1 lead?
Dexter.
You talking about the 3-1 lead?
Yeah, they were gifted
Oh.
a championship and choked at the last minute. That's my comparison.
LeBron blocked him at the end.
Uh-huh.
And you could tell one thing that I do think that they didn't. I don't think they knew what was going on at the end, because the Warriors started raping bitches. Like Cersei's. I mean,
Oh.
they're
Yeah,
not going to
can we-
approve that.
Can we talk about that real quick? Like, okay, the northern soldiers, right? Remember, Jon was trying to stop them. They started attacking and everything. The one guy that went after the girl, and then
Jon killed
Jon
him.
killed
stopped him. That man, all of a sudden, that girl was more important than following Jon. Like, what? How?
Yeah.
That did not make
That's-
any sense.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know,
That was
to me-
That made no sense. The North, I mean, from what I know from like Robert's Rebellion and things like that, when Ned found King's Landing the way it was, everyone was getting raped and stuff. He was mortified. He was upset. They don't do that in the North. So to me, I was just like, that makes no sense.
because they're
They-
doing D&D love shock value. You see
Exactly.
that with many of their episodes.
But I feel
They
like
want
that's the
shock value.
horrible shock value. That doesn't make sense to
It
what's
should
been
have
going
been a
on.
Dothraki at the very least.
Uh-huh.
But no, it was a northern soldier. It made no sense. None.
It-
I
And
agree.
they make you think a couple episodes before that like almost the entire Dothraki are killed. It looked like there was like an army of the people still left. Like it felt like, I really felt like they didn't really know how to succeed that expectation, because it's like I said, they didn't really have a whole lot to fight them. They had to give that dragon immortality pretty much. Like, because there was no possible way that they would have sieged and got over those walls and do everything they needed. Like, you can't do that in an episode. And they had an episode to do that. So that was the only possible way that they could have done that to make sense.
And
But
Drogon was also like the biggest,
The biggest
oldest
dragon. Yep. So
One. He was the oldest one the whole time.
It was the oldest one, but there ain't no way that dude is dodging 50, 60.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like I have to forgive them for that. That's still dumb as hell, but I understand. They only had an episode to do it. If anything, this is the writer's fault, because they were off for 10 episodes and they said we could do it in 6.
Yeah.
They couldn't
Yeah.
do it in 6.
It
Yeah,
was
HBO
hour
offered them
and a half.
10 seasons total. 10 whole seasons, 10
Really?
episodes, bigger budget. bigger budget, and they said, "Nah, we could do this in
To be
season
fair,
7 for 7
hold on.
episodes."
All
And
because
To
they
be
wanted-
fair, hold on.
Do you
I don't
think
think we could just put it all on the writers because I'm
Yes,
pretty
I
sure
can.
Nah,
some
I'm
of the
putting all this
hold on,
shit on the
hold on, hold
right.
on. Hang on.
Do you think
I'm
they
pretty
rushed
sure-
it because of the Disney deal with Star
Yes,
Wars?
think-
very
No.
much
Oh,
so.
God.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be
I just
surprised if
Their
they're
movie's
writing for
coming out
both
2020.
Hold on. Let Nev
2022.
make your point, Nev. What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure I heard that some of the actors also wanted to not be on the show or for the show to end.
Doesn't
So
matter. They're
just say
contracted.
Yeah.
hold on, but if they're signing contracts first of all, we shouldn't even, as people who aren't even on the show, we shouldn't even be discussing the contracts because none of us know how these contracts work. But even besides that point, if some of the actors didn't want to be on
What
the show,
actress said they didn't want
Yeah,
to do
they
it?
didn't.
I want a
they didn't
list.
I
say.
think
Was
I
it
Yeah, I heard
think,
Varys?
Jon Snow didn't want to be on
I
it.
think Lena
Why?
Headey didn't want to be on the show anymore, but I could be wrong. I'm not
Who's
sure
she
which one it
play?
was.
Cersei.
Cersei.
That's
Let me look this
Cersei.
up.
I think Varys
But-
Varys' actor too, right? Said he was kind of like over it.
Yeah,
after
I
season
do
6.
remember hearing
I'm gonna
that
have
some
to
of the
see
actors
the
did.
guy.
Well, he
I haven't
said
seen
he
it
didn't
either,
like
so.
the last couple seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
think,
even-
I think
even-
they didn't want to be on the show because how they're portraying their characters at the end.
Exactly.
He probably
Well,
read the script. He's like,
I heard
I'm
a lot
out.
of the actors and actresses they didn't know they were gonna die until they got the script. Like usually, apparently they get a heads up, hey, you're dying this season or something like that. But like they were saying, like when they didn't, like I think Miss Sunday or something like that, or was it Varys? One of them said they was reading the script and they didn't know anything about them dying, and then they got to the part like, oh, I guess
Oh,
I'm dying.
I don't have any more lines after this.
So, like, I guess I'm dying, So I mean,
Well, it's
Let
like
me,
I said.
let me read this super chat real quick, and then we'll get Jay Gott's thoughts because he wanted to say something real quick.
Can you guys hear me though?
Yeah, we hear you.
yeah, we can
Let me
hear you.
read this real quick. Glorious War says D&D messed up by not including Dorne plot and young Griff plot. One of the best characters, Arianne, was in the shows. Can't wait for the remake following the books 100% in 30 years. Hashtag who is Azor Ahai? Thank you,
Yeah,
Flores.
they definitely butchered the Dorm plot in season 5. They took a
Yeah,
complete shit
that's
on it.
indefensible.
yeah.
Dorne wasn't even there.
The new king of Dorne was just chilling in this episode.
Yeah, I was surprised to even see him.
Yeah.
Sheesh. But yeah, Jay Gott, you wanted to say something real quick?
Yeah, you guys might have covered it a little bit. I'm not too sure, but I just want to say this whole season has been kind of like a letdown for me, at least. Especially
I
this
thought
last
the first 2
episode.
episodes were good, but everything after that, it just started going downhill.
Well, like for me, it's just been kind of a downhill because Bran has done absolutely nothing this season. I figured he'll at least take control of one of the dragons, but didn't do it. I guess you would say he kind of knew everything was going to happen, like everybody was going to die, and Jon was going to kill Daenerys. That's why he wanted to become king, even though he didn't want it. So it's kind of like a misleading plot, I guess. I don't know. It just seems kind of all over the place. I don't know if I'm the only one that sees it that way, but it's just kind of like I said,
It's inconsistency.
yeah, like the
Consistent
story
rushed.
it jumps too much. This whole season did. It just jumped way too much. Basically, to me, it seems like since they had no more source material, they ran out of material, and they didn't know how to create new material to kind of go with the storyline and such. And I don't know if you guys even said this, but HBO wanted to have 10 seasons of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just mentioned that.
Yeah,
Dude, I can't imagine the amount of people that hit that cancel subscription right now.
Oh yeah, they definitely did.
I mean,
I'm
that was
about
gonna
to on
happen
mine.
anyway, though. I mean,
Nah,
regardless,
my
if
girl's
it's the
watching it.
last episode, a ton of people are just gonna there are a lot of people who are watching Game of Thrones or watching HBO specifically for Game of Thrones.
Yep.
So regardless of how that turned out, people
When
will
is the
be
prequel supposed to
unsubscribing.
come out?
I believe
I
think
it's
next
next-
year.
Is it next year? Yeah, it's supposed to be
think
I'll
about
watch it.
the
Okay,
Night
I still-
Walkers.
I
Who's
still
directing
have-
that?
No
Uh,
idea.
I know. It's like a famous showrunner. Give me a sec.
I still
But
have faith in them.
the
And this is
prequel like
Ned's story, right? When they were younger, right?
no, the prequel is like takes place like 1,000 years.
It's about the
plus
Night
more.
Walkers.
Okay, the Night
Yeah,
Walkers,
yeah, it's
okay.
before anything actually happens.
Good,
I thought they were
because
supposed
the
to have
Night
a-
King needs more justice than he got in the show.
Okay. Wasn't there supposed to be a series though, where like when Ned and Robert were younger? Apparently,
That's the one
think
I
they're
wanna
working
see.
on,
know.
like,
That's what I wanna see.
prequels,
I-
Yeah,
I
I
heard- I
personally
thought I
want
heard
the
about that
Roberts
somewhere.
Rebellion one.
Yeah, the rebellion would be awesome. Like I want that. I want to see that.
I just don't want it. I don't want it to turn into like what the Talking Dead, not Talking Dead, what Fear the Walking Dead is. It was like another spinoff of the main series that nobody cares about. I hope it doesn't turn into that. I guess.
Man, crazy.
I guess I was really, passionate about the show. I really enjoyed the show, and even though they ended it the way they did, I'm annoyed with them, but it was still a good show. I
agree.
enjoyed the way everything
Honestly,
ended.
yeah.
I love it.
This
I still
last
love
season,
it.
yeah, I still love it. The thing with
I
this,
support
I
it.
can't
is, like,
condemn the whole show for 4 episodes. I can't.
this,
Yeah, of
I've
course.
been watching like a lot of like old Lord of the Rings clips, and it just made me love the Lord of the Rings even more because I think, and I'm really happy to hear about this new
To
Lord of the
me-
Rings series that's coming out.
To me, it's
'Cause-
like, oh, sorry, my bad.
No, go ahead.
No, what I was gonna say was, to me, Game of Thrones is like Death Note. It didn't ended well for me, but it was still a great anime.
I
So
thought
it's like
Death Note ended well.
Game of
I
Thrones.
think fair
Basically,
comparison,
everybody on the panel is saying that it was a great ride, but we don't like how the ride ended.
Exactly.
Well, it's still my favorite TV series of all time. I love
Breaking
it.
Bad's still my.
No,
that's
Breaking
sad.
I never really watched
Going
Breaking Bad,
going
so I
into
don't watch much TV.
going
so.
into season 8, it was about to dethrone that shit, and then they fucked
Hot
it
take?
up. They
That's
fucked
how
it
I
up at
felt
the
too.
very end.
They were
I
kind
like
of
this
like
ending better than Breaking Bad.
Yeah, before season 8, I would say it was right there with it.
they were
Breaking
kind
Bad
of
was
equal to me at the beginning, and then now it's like, man, I want to see Breaking Bad all over again. Like I
I didn't like the
appreciate
last
it so
season of
much.
Because
Breaking
the
Bad
thing
at
that
all.
made Breaking Bad so good is when they ended that show, almost everything made sense. Nothing
Exactly.
very low key makes sense. Everyone's story, it was literally a perfect told story.
You know what's funny? The characters didn't act out of character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
At the very end, I mean, literally at the very
Here we
after
go.
Jesse did all that shit, after he went through all that stuff, he still said bitch at the end. Like,
Yeah, like with Game of Thrones, like Tyrion, it just seemed like he was just a totally different person.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Way
got dumb all of a sudden.
John was like not even John. I don't even know who that was. It was just
He was a
Yeah.
bitch
I
boy,
don't
man.
know.
He's
he got
Jon
pussy
Snow.
whipped. He got
He's a
pussy
Jon
whipped.
Snow.
That's what
He
happened.
was a bitch, unfortunately. Well, let me ask you guys
I
this:
think
Do
you
you
guys are
think
being unfair.
How are we being unfair? Please explain to me.
I just think that again we have to understand. I don't even know.
Dude,
who
I don't want
Jon
to
Snow-
understand shit. Okay.
So I'll say
man?
with like
Oh my
with
god!
Tyrion, I think that with him he became disillusioned
Yeah,
to the whole thing.
broken.
He started to care more about the human cost to all of the political plays that everyone was participating.
But that's completely
and
against
less-
his persona.
Exactly.
Hold on. Again, can I finish?
Yeah.
We have to understand that people change as a result of watching countless numbers of bodies pile up. Remember, he had to kill his father and the woman he was in love with. To act like that wouldn't change the average person is kind of ignoring how people.
But when did
act.
they die?
So-
Like 3 seasons ago?
Yeah, but he didn't really change back
No.
then. He changed
I mean,
only
he's-
recently. Like his
Exactly.
change was so
Again, my thing
fast.
is, I'm not even disputing that he changed. I'm just saying that people can change.
You did
as
say
a
you
result
said
of
people
past
change
trauma.
in dramatic situations. That's the exact sentence you
He
said.
died in.
Here-
They died in season.
Here's my thing.
I just like, can I get a sentence out before
Okay,
I
go
get
ahead.
cut
Finish,
off?
Nev. Finish.
Like, it's just so the idea that none of these characters are like John was legitimately killed. So to assume that someone like Jon Snow, wouldn't have a different outlook on life after having died, kind of makes you. I mean,
John
I would
died in like
expect someone
season
to change.
6, dude.
Yeah, he died in
So
he died in
what?
ending of season 5 and resurrected in season 6, but he
Yeah,
still felt like
uh-huh.
John though in
Are we
season
gonna-
6.
He did the Battle of the Bastards after that. Stop, man. Stop.
He felt the
Oh.
same.
Best episode in the
Oh,
series.
God. All right.
Best episode in the
You know,
series.
guys, I saw that episode today before the final, and man, that
It's-
episode, Battle of the Bastards, is by far
The
like the
best.
greatest thing on television.
Yeah,
that's
Yeah,
my
the
favorite
best.
part of the show.
Oh
It
my
has-
god,
it
that
has the most
episode.
incredible.
epic scene where he throws that sheath and he holds that claymore straight up with both hands. He knows she's
Yeah.
about to go down.
from the
He
first
shouldn't have
minute
lived
till the
that. Let's be
end.
real here. He
Oh,
should
yeah,
not
the
have lived
plot
that
armor was
scenario.
ridiculous.
I just
on
think
that
this
episode.
like the moment where he saw his brother Reckon run towards him was like the best scene ever. He just got on his horse and just like bang, just started going out there to get to his brother. Man, that was just
The whole episode was just
beautifully
so
filmed,
good.
man.
Because
Oh
it
my
was
God.
well written.
Written.
hmm
Best episode right there on the whole series.
But no, but Nev, I know, I kind of get what you're saying. Like he changed as far as his outlook on life, maybe, and things like that. But for me, it was like legit his dialogue, how he talked, the less he talked, it just was so different. I feel like Tyrion changed beyond that. Like he was just a totally different person.
I didn't have an issue with how John acted because I do felt like he got to the point where he was like, I believe in Dany's movement. I believe in what she wants. And then when she started drastically changing, it started changing him because he didn't know what to do. He's stuck in the middle. Let's not to mention he found out he's fucking his aunt. I'm sure that fucked with him a little bit.
Yeah.
And he's like, I love this chick with everything in me. I didn't know she was my aunt yesterday. She's my aunt. I don't know if I should do anything tomorrow. Like that's a hard situation.
All he had to do was take one for the team and bone his aunt, and everyone would be happy.
But let me ask you this:
Hold on, let me get something straight. So you think that Jon being around her was enough to change him, but you don't think that Tyrion being around her was enough to change himself?
No, I don't even think it was about them being around Daenerys. I just think that Tyrion having to see a bunch of the human cost.
I think it was the family that changed him. Yeah, he didn't want to kill everyone he grew up with.
Like the men legitimately had to, shoot his dad while his dad was on the shitter.
I don't think he gave a fuck about that dude though.
Yeah, Tywin was a piece of shit.
I think he did because he cried over
at the end of the day,
dead, and she treated him just as bad as Tywin did.
At the end of the day, I think he went with his family and where he grew up, and he didn't want all those innocent people dying. He stabbed Dany in the back multiple times just trying to save that city.
And the Lannisters, they're about family first. They've always been. And I always figured, he is going to help Jaime. That
in the end.
Yeah, that is going to happen. Even helping Cersei. I saw that.
Exactly.
I thought that.
Tell me you guys didn't feel it when he took off that pin and threw that shit. I was like, he was like, "Fuck this, kill me, bitch." That's what he pretty much said. Like.
And then when he found Jaime and Cersei, that was sad. I felt that.
I feel like they did him justice. I really do. I feel like they showed, like, for the most of the show, he ain't showed emotion.
I don't know. That wasn't real sentimental.
And I really liked when he released Jaime. That was the best moment I've seen him in a long time.
That was a great moment. Like their final moment together.
That was a good one.
Great.
Did any of you low key, like, I know it was a reach? Did you think when he climbed into that little narrow corridor to get to where Jaime and them died, that one of them was still gonna be alive?
Yeah, no, I was expecting him to look over and then the boat would have been gone, and I was ready to toss my fucking.
I was hoping Cersei would be alive and get a proper death. Like,
I'm not gonna lie though, I honestly thought there was gonna be more rubble. Because in the last episode, it looked like there was a ton of rumble. And there was
it was a dwarf. They had to make it a little bit. They ain't never gonna get that dude out. Like,
well, the thing is, I thought the Cersei and Jaime would be at the bottom of the pile, not the top of the pile.
Top.
And they weren't really far down.
Another thing that was weird is like the way it looked like when it was collapsing, that whole cavern collapsed in.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
It didn't really look like it collapsed much.
Nope.
See, there you go. Another plot hole. What the fuck happened there?
I feel like the show's like you really got to turn your brain off for this last episode. Like you really do.
I try, but I can't.
I can't either, but you have to. I think
Dude, like
to enjoy it.
How did they multiply, man? Did they just like?
Oh my god, they respawned.
They respawned.
Like I said earlier.
Respawn too. It's like, gosh dang.
Nah, you know what happened? Fucking Daenerys was the Night King the whole time. She just kept
resurrecting their asses.
There were like 12 Unsullied that survived the battle of the Winterfell, and then like the next episode there was like 100, and then like this episode there was like 1,000.
You know what I thought would have been cool?
The entire Dothraki horde died.
Yeah. You know what I thought would have been cool that they really couldn't have done? If like Dany went up to the Golden Company, she didn't have her dragon. And they're like, we've been hired to do this, and her dragon comes out. He's like, okay, you got more money, you got a dragon. Okay, we'll turn around. We'll fight with her with you. Like,
I think that happens in the books. I think the Golden Company flips on someone that contracts them.
That would have been way better.
Yeah, it just didn't make sense because they made them sound so badass.
They gassed them up so much.
I have a problem.
Got no play whatsoever.
You gotta subvert expectations, man.
I think that's the biggest issue. I have a problem nitpicking story shit that doesn't make sense. And like I really do. Like in games, I do the same shit. Like Kingdom Hearts 3, one of my favorite games of all time. There's so much nitpicking in that shit I can't even play.
But like for season 1 through 4, I can't like barely nitpick anything.
No, for the most part, dude, the whole show I can't nitpick. Like they well told that story.
And I can't even. I'm in the minority. I love season 6 the most. That's just me.
Season 6 was my favorite as well.
See, me, it's like 5 and 6. Like 1 through 4, amazing writing. 5 and 6, it's like it's good. then 7 and 8, like 7, I defended because I thought we would get.
I thought 7 was good.
Seven was good to me too. Honestly,
There was a
like
lot of
7.
reach.
And you know what's another thing? Explain to me how that dragon, obviously it was the biggest dragon, but how could that dragon dodge all those catapults, but the Night King took out that dragon with one spear?
He's the Night King.
The most
the Night King was a bitch, man.
The better question.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say the better. Sorry, Nev. We keep interrupting you.
No worries. Go ahead.
When Drogon's taking down all these buildings, burning everything, the Iron Throne, whatever, but he couldn't burn the rocks in front of Jon.
Oh yeah, Viserion.
Yeah,
man.
Well, the other dragon, Viserion or whatever, had the blue fire.
Yeah.
Couldn't burn through that.
He's not the biggest one, Erica.
He's not the biggest one. I guess
That's true. He's not the biggest
You're
one.
right.
So.
Even though he blew like up the wall.
Did anyone have an issue?
No, I'm kind of curious. Is it still fire once the Night King takes over?
It was.
It's
yeah,
blue.
it's like a blue fire.
In like in the Game of Thrones universe, there are tons of different colored fire. Like Balerion the Black Dread had black fire.
Yeah, I know they had
That
the
cool.
green fire when you get what's it called?
Yeah, wildfire.
Wildfire.
So there are different kinds of fire.
There's like a legit, I believe, a frost dragon, I believe, or snow dragon or something like that.
I was asking because I could swear.
But that's a white dragon though.
At some point in the episode, he was doing some kind of frost shit to him. I might be wrong. Maybe that was the Night King. But I remember that dragon freezing somebody instead of burning.
And that was lame too. I thought he was going to do more with that dragon.
That happened.
Did anyone have an issue of how they ended Jon's arc?
I did, but at the same time, I guess it was fitting for him to go back to the Night's Watch. I guess because that's where he started from.
It makes sense, but at the same time, I feel like I'm okay with that. I will accept that.
I'm kind of okay with that,
but I do think they could have found something better.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. Like, what is the Night's Watch there for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey man, they gotta make another one just because.
But here's the point.
That must be the greatest job ever.
I think they did that because even if he did kill Dany, but if they didn't take him prisoner, he still wouldn't have took the throne. I don't think he wanted that at all. I think they
should have just.
He's like his dad, Ned. He's like his dad, Ned. Honestly, I don't think he would have took the throne at all. He'd be like,
the argument could be made he's more like Rhaegar because he doesn't like doing the shit that he's been doing and shit like that. And Rhaegar didn't even want the throne either.
Maybe. How would you feel? I still see Jon as a Stark more. He's been raised as a Stark, and I know he has Targaryen blood, but I mean, like, he's, to me at least, in my eyes, he will always be a Stark.
How would you have felt?
And he says that in this episode. He does say that to Tyrion. He's like, you can't judge someone based off of the flag that they're born under.
You know what I like? There's a couple of things I liked. I liked that the Sharks ended up ruling the world pretty much.
Yeah,
the Sharks,
the Starks.
But one thing that how I kind of felt like Jon needed to die. Like I kind of felt like that. Like some kind of. Once if they would have ended that show executing him.
Oh man, don't say that, bro.
I would have preferred them to have just banished him to go north of the wall so that he could live with the wildlings.
I mean, they kind of
did what he did, right?
I mean, but they officially told him to live on Castle Black, I guess. But the man is basically just gonna get to have a hotel for the rest of his life because he ain't got to worry about it.
Wait, no, he didn't. But he didn't. He didn't stay at the wall. He went with the
marched north.
Yeah, he does eventually go north with them.
But do you think he's just sending them back there? And then just coming back. I think that's because
No, it sounded like they hinted because they were like, "We're going back north," and he was like, "I wish I could come with you." And he's like, "I think you would enjoy it better up there." They hinted he was going there.
Oh yeah,
maybe
that's true.
Because they made it seem like he was the head of the Night's Watch again when he went back there. Everyone was
that's what it looked like to me too.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was just sending him back.
I don't necessarily think that. I just think that he was with the wildlings.
He gave up the mantle of the Lord of Night's Watch.
To be fair, though, I remember after the Battle of Winterfell, there was no Night's Watchman left.
There's no reason to have a Night Watch.
Because the Night King just straight up took.
Yeah, exactly. So Dolorous Ed was the last leader of the Night's Watch.
But it does kind of make me wonder, maybe Jon should have died because they brought him back for a reason, right? I mean, the Red Woman brought him back for a purpose. He did that by killing Dany. I would assume that's his purpose. So what now?
I doubt it because of how early.
I thought the dragon was going to burn him alive.
Or
even she died too early to say that she knew his purpose. Because if you remember correctly, when they see visions, they can't see any visions past when they die. So apparently
True.
he had already served his purpose by the time she died.
My thing with
I
that is
think
that we have to
I think
understand
that
that
he died.
we have to understand that the gods and the mysticism of Westeros are not 100% reliable. There have been times where prophecies have been fulfilled, and there have been times where they haven't. Remember, Stannis set his own daughter on fire, expecting to become king of the North, and
Right.
that
Oh, that
backfired
was a
right
sad
away.
moment.
They did.
Even
Yep.
when what's her Melisandre was
Ye-
setting the trench on fire during the last battle, she kind of had a look in her eye like, shit, is this gonna actually work or are we
Yep.
fucked, right? So you can't take prophecy or
I
the
don't know if
gods
she
in
had
Game of
that thought
Thrones as
process. I
gospel.
think she was scared because she saw them coming at her.
See, the whole thing
Fair
about Stannis burning his daughter is like that to me would never have been a thing that Stannis would ever do, and that was very out of character of him, and that was very much used for shock value, to be completely honest.
I mean, Stannis was fully ready to try and kill his brother, so I don't know if it's a
Yeah,
logical
but not his
take
own daughter. What? Like
Sure.
that to
There
me
was a
has
lot of
never
shock.
felt like what Stannis would do. And you like Nev, and I'm pretty sure you've also read the books. Like like that Stannis would definitely not have done that as well.
See, but I don't know. I haven't read the books. I just
Oh,
read a
I
lot
thought
of.
you
No,
did.
I'm just a
I thought
Wikipedia
so.
monkey.
Yeah.
No. I just sit on the Song of Ice and Fire wiki and read
Oh,
that.
okay.
I do have the books beside me, but I'm never gonna get into them.
No, you're gonna definitely get into them, my man.
But yeah, I don't know. I think Stannis, to be honest, he was like him and Tyrion were my favorite characters, and I just think that Stannis was so like devout, and he believed so much that he was destined for the throne, that he would be willing to do a lot of screwed up shit. And we have to remember that Stannis was the rightful heir to the throne after Robert died.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
after in the War of the Five Kings, he did have the best claim. And I don't know, he seemed to get a little fanatical as the seasons went on. I actually really liked him burning Shireen. I love that episode.
Do you
I
think
didn't.
that they should have gave Dany more time when she was dying, like to say anything, like at all?
Nah.
Like
She pretty much
kind of
said-
feel like the look of betrayal was enough. Like
Yeah.
I guess during that moment, I knew she was gonna die. I mean, John was going there with fucking a sword and a knife. So
Yeah, like I was
kinda
saying
obvious.
earlier, he had him on him, compared to when he visited Tyrion. He had
Yeah.
to hand them over, and so yeah, I noticed that right away.
Don't you love that they take his weapons and shit to visit a dwarf that probably couldn't even wield nothing that he has, but they don't take it for his queen? Like,
Well, I mean, no one was there though. It was
Yeah,
just
they
Yeah,
weren't
just the
there.
dragon that was there.
They weren't there. Yeah,
So, I
that's
mean,
true.
Maybe she
But
wanted to
it's,
be alone on the throne, and
it's just
Yeah.
kind of funny.
If the
did
dragon
you
would have burned
notice
him,
that?
it would have been kind of cool.
Did you notice that Dany didn't really even think that she did anything wrong?
Yeah, no. She just was like, yeah, I did
They
what I
didn't
did.
even really open up on that either. Like there was no arguing about it, nothing like that. It was
It's like he's like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna kill you.
when she blamed Cersei for what she did, that I was like, oh yeah.
I think that's when he
she's
realized he
got
had
to
to kill her.
bro. Yeah, she's got.
I think when he walked in there, he didn't know what he was gonna do until she said that.
Well, I think the turning point was definitely, asking about the other people, like the other nations, if they would, bend, like, if they weren't going to
Yeah.
bend, what was going to happen? He's just like, they're definitely going to. They're not going to have a choice. So it's like,
if she would,
Exactly. It was pretty clear when John asked her, like, and what about the other people who think they're right? And she said, well, they don't get to choose. I think at
Mhm.
that point you become a tyrant, and then the case
Yep.
closed, which is why I felt like him, stabbing her was pretty justified in that
See,
moment.
that's what I always had. Like the problem is though, her whole descent into madness wasn't well built up as well as fleshed out. Whereas like when you read about her father, he had a well built up reason as to why he became mad, and I believe he was in prison and tortured and stuff like that for a while. And then when he came into his own as king, legit, he thought he was a freaking dragon and shit like that.
you guys seen these memes?
Oh man.
Oh, there's a
Yeah.
bunch.
Oh,
Did
dude,
you-
there's one of what's her name looking at a piece of paper, and it says, "Cersei is the nastiest skate bitch I've ever met. Do not trust her. She's a fugly slut."
That's from Mean Girls. If you guys have ever watched that movie, that's something from that movie. I was gonna say, let me talk to the chat really quick because Smokey was going a little nuts.
Oh,
Because
boy.
we were talking about John, and
Yeah,
if
he was
needed,
attacking
he
me
needed to
earlier.
die, and we brought up I was bringing up, okay, well, what was his purpose? Maybe that's when he should have died because he already fulfilled his purpose. So that's
do you
all I
think
was saying, Smokey. I wasn't trying to, pinpoint the exact purpose. I was just saying, well, maybe he should have died because he did all of what he had to do.
If he had a purpose, what do you
know?
think it would have been?
Mm-hmm.
Well, like he
That's
was saying, it was to unify everyone against the.
I think that's what it was.
Night
Neither
King.
that or Battle of Bastards.
Yeah, which was awesome.
That's why I said
that's
that's
what
when
he
she
was there
died.
for.
When she can only see prophecy. Even though we can't fully trust the prophecy, she can only see prophecies before she dies. Anything that happens after she dies, she knows nothing of.
It just, like I said, I mean, I'm okay with John's, ending. It's a little disappointing because, like I said, he did a lot throughout this whole series, man. He was the hero for like almost every war they went through. He was the leader, and to just leave him in prison and then send him back to the Night's Watch. I mean, man, I don't know. Man.
I'm okay with that because at the end of the day, that's where he wanted to be.
Like, I'm okay with it, but at the same time, it's just like he did so much and he still gets he was got the shit end of the stick.
I mean, what else would they could have possibly done? I mean, make him on the Iron Throne. That's literally the only other possible scenario.
Yeah, I don't think he would have took it, but I don't know. Like, I guess it's just
because Sansa would have killed his ass for to be the Queen of the North. She was serious about that.
It sounds like if John were to become king, he definitely would have been like, yeah, the North.
I thought they were going to end the show. I thought that Jon was going to die in some way of saving Dany. And it was going to put Dany on the right path of not becoming the Mad Queen. This is before she killed all the innocent people. After that, it was a wrap. And I thought it was going to end the show with her and Sasha, and she was like, "Look, I respected your brother a lot. I'm going to let you have the North." That's how I thought they were going to end it.
The thing I didn't get about that scene is how come she could just declare that they were gonna be independent? Why didn't someone else be like, well,
no, she didn't just declare. That's why she looked at him for acceptance. He had to agree to that.
Yeah, he had to nod.
I see. Okay, yeah. But then if I'm the Prince of Dorne, I'd have been like, I'm not trying to have a king either.
You gotta head out, Hardhead.
Yeah, I gotta head out.
Okay, yeah, me too. Pretty soon, we should start wrapping up. But yeah, Hardhead, if you want to.
I just wanted to say before I go, don't be a fucking Jon Snow, yo.
Oh,
goddamn!
Oh man,
you're not simping in 2019.
My boy, man, just clowning.
Man, put him on the B list. Man, put him on the B list.
Don't spend your whole life to end up right back where you fucking started.
Well, I mean, didn't Jack make a tweet that was, had a good point? He was saying in the end, I guess it wasn't meant for all the Stark kids to reunite or something. I gotta look for his.
Oh yeah,
tweet.
that was they come together and then they split up again.
Yeah,
it was a joke. He basically his tweet said, all the Stark kids reunited just to find out they should have stayed separated.
Exactly.
That's kind of facts, though.
I liked it though. They started the show at a weak state where they all were extremely naive, and at the end, one became a queen. One was pretty much, I don't know what you would consider Jon. One became the king of kings. I like that. I thought that was, and Arya, I think they should have did something better with her at the end. I don't know where she was going.
But shout out to Rob Stargo, dead ass.
Who? The young Ned. That's my king.
Ned.
Jon will always be my boy.
Thanks, Hardhead, for coming through. Sorry you had to binge watch for that ending.
That ending.
It was a worthy ride. The show ended for me at season 6, episode 10. I just finished it for fuck all reason.
Just wait for the books, Hardhead. Just wait for the books.
I'm gonna be reading those audiobooks or something.
Man, those books are never coming.
Yeah,
that man George Martin having a heart attack before those books get published.
Dude, also suppose the Euron plot, Euron is a character way better in the fucking books than
I was gonna say that earlier. Euron's he's actually the final boss, I think, basically.
He's really cliche. I don't know why. I guess the Dumb and Dumber just don't know how to write them. But should we do the super chat for?
Am I missing one?
The other thing, the sister,
right quick, Euron could have had his own separate arc for a whole season.
Euron's niece didn't do jack shit after she left either.
Oh, Yara just took off. Yeah. She was there at the end.
She comes back. She's like, my loyalties is for Dany. I'm like, you didn't see the bullshit she did. I'm sure.
Well, that's why I didn't like how they made Euron look so badass at the end of episode 4. And in episode 5, he was just like on the ship, and like the dragon comes down, just just destroy his whole fleet in the blink of an eye.
I just love how she said that though. My loyalties is to Dany. That's because you didn't see the dumb shit she just did.
Hey,
You see Arya put her in her place though, right away.
So I will slit your damn throat.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
like
slit your throat.
yikes.
All right, these last super chats, and then you guys can like say your goodbyes and all that. Glorious War says, "Will any other show be as big as Game of Thrones? Has anyone on the panel read The Wheel of Time? If you have, do you think a TV show would be as big as Game of Thrones?" I never read that, so I don't know.
Same
It
here.
depends. Don't let these writers write that show.
Oh yeah. Oh, fun fact. David Benioff wrote X-Men Origins Wolverine, and he's the same person that sewed Deadpool's mouth shut. So.
Yeah.
Oh, that dude shouldn't even be able to work in this industry.
Glorious he also said D&D are in fault. All their originally plot lines were trash. Prequels might be good. D&D are not involved. Hoping for a dunk and egg miniseries.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope. It's like different like stories that happen in Westeros. I believe George said this, and he said you should read his Fire and Blood book and make theories, because that's what's going to be about one of the prequels, which is basically Aegon, the first conquest of Westeros, which that would be pretty dope of them to do, because you have the point of views of Aegon's and his sisters with their 3 dragons, and taking over Westeros in the north and all.
How many dragons did they take over the world with?
3.
So they always come in waves of 3.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and he's also married to both of his sisters.
Yeah.
Well, Dany's an idiot. She lost both her dragons within like a month.
Well, they lost one dragon, and I think that was in Dorne. And the dragon scales are way tougher in the books than the show. And one of like the Dorne used scorpion / ballista and shot the dragon through the eye, and it was like a miracle chance.
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty dope to see that.
The lore is really damn good for Game of Thrones. Highly recommend. Just like go on YouTube, look things up. There's so much.
It honestly
good
has like the best world building in like all of fiction, like bar none.
Mm-hmm. Just the world that he built is crazy. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, if you want to know more about it, look up Alt-Shift-X. He has some good breakdowns.
Just spend a whole day watching that dude's videos. Because they're amazing.
I like Alt-Shift-X. I like Ideas of Ice and Fire. And I think those are like the 2 best ones. Azora Hype, that man just damage controls a lot. I don't like that man a lot. But.
I already know all week. That's what I'm going to be doing. Listening to like breakdowns and reviews and just everybody upset about this episode.
Ideas of Ice and Fire. He's going to go ham on it.
Yeah, for sure. But thanks you guys for, hanging out. We got a lot of people in here. It's kind of hard, people talk over each other, but it's all good. We're very passionate, so I understand.
I tend to
8 years.
Every
8 years.
8 years, baby.
Or in Hardhead's case, 90 hours in 2 weeks.
90 hours in 2
weeks. So we would get passionate about these things. I know I am. There's so much more to say, but we only have so much time, and
I actually said everything I wanted to, actually.
I bet you did.
Nev's like, I bet you did.
I'm still in disbelief.
I have a problem, man. I'm not willing to.
It's all good, man. No worries. It's
you
hard
gotta
to
teach
not
me
be
that.
Passionate about this stuff.
You gotta teach me that, Addict. I need to be like that, But it was good conversation. It's funny how, we're talking about this episode, but we keep going back to the last one. And I feel like the last one
was what set everyone off, pretty much.
Yeah, that's the one that just really, broke the straw on the camel's back. Like we just got so disappointed from there on out. And it just goes into this episode, I think. And we can't help but bring it up.
It's just amazing.
It's just so flawed.
It's amazing, how one episode can ruin the whole series. And that was episode 5, for me at least.
Yeah, we're going to remember that. I think that it was no way to redeem it for most fans. Some are going to be happy with it. Some are going to forgive it. Like maybe someone like Nev, you kind of see like maybe the more positive sides, which isn't a bad thing. It's not like you can, have your opinion.
I tend to sit in reality and look at everything negatively. That's my issues. But, for the most part, I can't be giving some excuses like Nev was, man. You got to show me how you do that, Nev. I need that positivity in my life. Like,
that damage control.
I need that. Damn. But
Kids
is that it?
that.
Kids. Any more? I think that's all the super chats. Thank you, Glorious, and I think Unforgiven sent me one a while back.
Super chats.
A few of them, so appreciate it. You know, I've been out of the loop, like I said at the beginning. I've been gone for like a week or so, but trying to get back in the groove.
Good
doing
to have
these.
you back.
People don't realize how hard it is to like consistently update a YouTube channel.
Facts.
It can be difficult, yeah. Especially
Kid Smooth's retired. He's done.
Really?
Tired.
How come I haven't? Well, I've been out the loop. Did he say this?
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, he said it like during the podcast, I think.
Wait. So he's not even doing his own podcast and stuff?
No,
I mean,
I think he's still doing that stuff.
Oh, he's still doing that.
Yeah, it's just like dropping like.
I don't know. Every time I ask him, he sidesteps it.
So no more streaming or like actual videos.
Nah, like news topics, I think.
Oh yeah. So yeah, his last podcast episode was like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think
there's not much going on in gaming right now, I guess, or console side at least.
He probably got those Sekiro stream chats.
Not even an E3 prediction video. Like
he'll be back for E3. He'll be back.
He just needs a little bit of time off to get that re-energized.
It's really dry right now, so it's easy to be like, screw YouTube. I mean, I've been saying that a little bit too. Like, there's nothing else.
Once you do this YouTube shit long enough, you kind of miss it. Like,
yeah, it becomes a part of your life, pretty much. That's how I've been feeling.
That's why you see a bunch of people leave for a couple months, weeks, and come right back. Like,
right. I need to get back streaming and all that. But yeah, everybody watching, thank you guys. Hit the like button if you can. Share it because YouTube won't share it. Hustle, thank you. He says peace, everybody. Thank you, Hustle. Appreciate it. And I guess that's it. You guys want to say goodbye? Let's rate the season. We'll go down the line.
No.
Rate the episode and then the whole season. So Alton, you go first.
I'll give the last episode a 6. I'll rate the overall season a 7. As for the whole series, I'm gonna rate the whole series too. I'll give it a 9 because I still love it, even though the last season was just blah.
Yeah,
it still holds a special place in my heart. So I'll give it a 9 overall for the whole series.
That's fair. Addict, what about you?
I have to give the episode an 8.
Really, an 8?
Damn.
I didn't mind the way they ended it. I minded how they led up to this spot. Like,
that's high.
They did everything they were supposed to. It's just everything before that. And all the damage was already done up to this episode. Like,
that's true too. Yeah.
I gave the whole season like a 7, and I think give the whole show an 8 because I really do. This last season kind of ruined a lot of the show to me. Like, it went from like a 9 to 10 to an 8.
Yeah, I feel you on that one.
Jay Gott, what about you?
This past episode, I give it. Well, just like what Addict said, it kind of makes sense. I have to give it like maybe like a 7.5. The last episode, the season itself, I give it like a 6 because it was all over the place. And overall, I could give Game of Thrones like a 7.5. All because of
that's how I'm feeling.
7?
All because of 7. All because of season 8. Season 8 just didn't make much sense. It's kind of like if I'm going to recommend this to someone, you know. I kind of forewarn them. Hey, the last season's kind of crap. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I tell everyone before I recommend.
Don't waste 8 years like
Lost.
I did.
That's what I tell everyone before I recommend Lost to anyone.
Ooh, that's a harsh grade right there, man.
Okay, Nev, what about you?
I think this episode was a 7. I think I'd give the season. I'd give the season a 7 too. And overall, I'm giving Game of Thrones a 10. I still.
Oh my god!
It was a great ride.
That respect to you.
That makes no sense. Okay, so that doesn't make sense.
I know.
How is something a 7 but the overall grade is 10?
You're a teacher, so I can go to your class.
I don't know if I don't know if I can hold a couple bad episodes that I didn't like.
Look, all I'm saying, Nev,
I agree.
Hold up. But all I'm saying, Nev, is you can't give if your overall perspective of the show's a 10 out of 10. Those before the before 2 should have been a 10 out of 10 because that means it's a perfect show.
if you want to, get specific,
Just
okay,
say
I'll
9
give
out
it
of
like
10, man.
like a
Just say 9.
nine
There
and a
you go.
half.
There you go.
'Cause,
Oh, 9 and a
yeah.
half.
Yeah, I mean, it's simple math,
Yeah.
man.
But I don't know. I still think it's as perfect a show as you're going to get.
I agree.
Especially in this genre.
Damn. Okay. Red Hood.
Damn, I guess I'm going to be pretty critical with this episode. I think the only thing I liked was John petting Ghost, and that's pretty much it.
I low-key think they did that because of all the attraction they got.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, that and the Arya scene was great too. When him and Arya said their final goodbye was amazing.
I thought that was good, but in terms of execution, how everything was being built up, like interconnecting plot lines, just didn't make sense for me. The episode is a 4 or 5 out of 10. The season is legit a 4 out of 10. And the overall reason, like I defended season 7, but I'm gonna be like honest, like that was me being a fanboy and stuff like that. And looking back on it, like
It's like 2 seasons, I can't defend this.
yeah, and I can't defend it anymore. So now Game of Thrones for me is sitting at like a 7.5.
Oh man, all these sevens, dude. Oh,
Look, I'm telling you,
last
the
season
way
will
you
ruin it.
conclude a show can ruin the whole experience.
I mean,
That's kind of true. That's kind of true.
it is true, but man, like 3.
When's the last time you watched a good movie and they did some dumb shit at the end? You're just like, that's a good movie.
You got a point. You got a point. All right. What about VGL? What about you?
I would give the last episode 6.5 out of 10. I will give the last season a 7 because I actually enjoyed the first 2 episodes and some of episode 3, but the second half, no. I will give the show an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, besides Red Hood, a lot of you guys were very, very nice to this last episode. I'm with you, Red Hood. I'm giving this like a 4 for the episode.
Oof.
4 or 5. 5 at the most. Like I don't know, man. And then the season, maybe a 6. Because I did like a couple episodes. But overall, just the pacing, it was just it just wasn't good to me. For me, it wasn't good. And then the whole series, I'd still give it like a 9 because it was just so good up until this point.
Facts.
Up until because season 7, the pacing issues started to set in. It was a little rushed, and it just trickled into season 8, and it just got so much worse. But before that, amazing series.
The
amazing.
pacing on this show was like a Sony E3.
So did you think episode 6 was worse than 5? If you're giving the last episode a 4?
Episode 6 worse than 5?
Yeah. Do you think it's worse than?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know, but
or they might be equally bad. I don't know. I'd have to think about that more.
I think you need to watch the episode again.
Yeah.
Episode 5 had a lot of problems, so maybe you're right. Maybe I got to watch them again. But overall, just disappointing season for the most part. Too rushed. If they had more time, I think it would have helped.
Waited 2 years for this season just to be disappointed.
I know.
2 years.
That is bad, though. We did wait a long time for this
I think,
season.
yeah, the anticipation does make it sting a lot more.
And to me, if they redo this, I mean,
they ain't redoing this shit.
They ain't gonna redo it. I don't think
in
they will.
about 10 years, maybe about 10 years. But like, if they do redo it, like, and be like straight from the source material to the books, I think they should have an animated version of it because you can do anything. You can do anything. Because according to the books, a lot of the times the characters have dreams and things like that. They can, enter to that. They could do so much more.
Yeah, and some stars in the war.
So, what do you guys think is worse? For the fans like us who've watched it from the beginning and seeing the ending bad now, or someone like Kofi or Hardhead who only started picking it up now and watching.
I think us because we had to wait 2 years.
There was a lot of investment. I'm not gonna lie.
Like you got to look at someone like Kofi. Hey, that dude watches shit a week. Like there ain't no anticipation for this shit. Like he watched it. I don't even see people attack. Like the people that have been binge watching it, I don't even see them attacking the show.
It's more like us.
I mean,
Which
look,
is
yeah.
true.
The thing I like the most about Game of Thrones is like the speculation in between episodes. I like that more than I like the actual show, to be honest. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I still had a great
theories
time.
and like
Yeah.
guessing what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah, I do kind of feel more bad for the fans who just got into it because a lot of us hype the show like, oh, you need to watch it. It's dope. It's amazing. The last season's coming up, and they binge watched seasons 1 through 7. They
Kinda
watched 8
like-
live, and it's just like the fuck, It's
Kind of
just
like Walking Dead in some degree.
yeah.
Walking Dead.
Walking
I
Dead,
dropped
man.
that like
That show went off
We'll talk about that.
the rails
That show's been bad for a while.
by season 3 to me.
yeah. There's really no high expectations for
That
that. one.
show's been a season 8 of Game of Thrones for a minute.
But before we end, you guys know that petition going around for them to read.
Oh, dude,
about to sign.
I already
Oh,
signed
yeah,
that
it's
a
over a
while
million.
ago.
Yeah, I want to know.
Oh
Be
my
honest,
God.
who signed it?
I didn't
signed
sign
it.
it. I think
I'm about to
hit,
sign
like,
that
5
shit
minutes.
right now.
If you sign that, you're a fraud. Yeah.
I think it's pointless because they don't pay attention.
Oh,
to
it's
petitions.
pointless, but at the end of the day, it'll give the message. Like, don't rush at shows. Like,
Yeah, that's the whole point. The creator said that of the petition. He legit said,
like HBO going the next time they give people more episodes and the rise like, no, we ain't doing. No, you doing it. This not we ain't asking you. Last time Game of Thrones almost killed us. We lost 1 million subscribers. You writing this show? Like,
HBO will be fine, man. AT&T.
oh, they're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I know it's not going to do anything. I know they're not going to remake this season, but I just wanted to see the number go up. I did my part. I signed it.
It's going up a bit
Oh,
crazy though. It's
yeah.
1,153,000.
But what if they do remake season 8?
Hey man, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be excited.
Dude, if they remake season 8,
I don't know, man. After
Okay,
being
hold up.
so hyped for this
Okay,
season,
hold up.
Listen, if you give me competent writers and like
Let's be
really good
real
writers
here.
and shit like that, I'll be hyped.
Let's be real here. They can't remake season 8. There's one reason. Because if they fuck up season 8 again,
I mean, yeah, that's possible.
It's a wrap for HBO. It's a wrap for HBO.
Rest in peace, HBO.
But honestly, you get competent writers, like really good writers, you're fine.
I think if they ever do remake it, they'd have to wait like at least 5 years, maybe 10.
or
Just-
more.
we're gonna be 50 watching the remake of the
Oh
whole
yeah,
show
and
again.
then it's like, oh my gosh, this is the definitive version.
Back in
Hey.
my day, that didn't happen like that.
They remake movies all the time, so this ain't no different, really.
But shows they don't do
Give
that.
it like
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, they do reboots.
No, well, they do that, but not as often as movies.
I mean, hell, if Full House will get a reboot, then this can.
Full House was a popular show.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, man.
How long ago did Full House come
probably didn't
out?
have like a $90 million budget.
At least 20 years, I think.
20 years. There you go.
Yeah, it's been a while.
By then, we're gonna be in.
We gotta go to bed, guys. I'm freaking tired.
I gotta work early
already.
too. So
But seriously, thanks for everybody, coming through.
No
and
problem.
input.
thanks for having me.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it.
I
That's
really
the
appreciate it.
Thanks.
last time we're gonna be talking about this show. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I think I need to think more about it, and I'll probably have more opinions about it later. But for now, I mean, yeah, I was pretty speakless. I was pretty.
Don't you love how she says we need to go to bed and now she's ranting?
I know. But anyways, we're out. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah.
Take care.
Peace.
Bye.